I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah?
Do you believe in evil donkeys?
Can you give me the passage in the Bible that you're referring to?
And go, including the donkeys.
No, you guys don't believe in the time. Like you're saying, like it stands here.
We're going to call it energy. We're calling it universal energy. And it will be the most high, right? Are you guys fans? Are you guys fans of Deepak Chopra? Is that right?
I don't know what the fuck you said.
Yeah, I don't know who Deepak Chopra is. No. Oh, it seems like right in line with what you guys are pitching.
No, he isn't. They are not like Deepak Chopra. Deepak Chopra is all about the now. And when you are in the now, you know that people who espouse political propaganda, they are not part of the solution, they are part of the problem. Thank you, Honey Badger, for considering my Deepak Chopra impersonation.
Nobody's ever answered that. They're only projecting or predicting the future and reprocessing what they experienced in the past.
Have you ever?
I'm Buddhist when I meditate.
You know, Cora, I think you are very smart, but I think if you went to a meditation retreat at the Deepak Chopra Yoga Meditation Facility Incorporated, you might achieve a higher state of understanding and enlightenment.
I go to a Vajrayana silent retreat, John. Come on.
I got on stage fiction. We'll pick the wrong one, man.
I just want to know, are the African Americans descendants of true Atlanteans?
Don't get racist. Yeah.
And did you believe that the movie...
Hey, but I tell you what, we your daddy.
I don't know what happened there, nigga. It seemed like he slipped and fell to the goo, but respectfully, I don't know, man. Like, let's get back to that atheist versus theist shit. I think the atheist is winning anyway. Listen, I wasn't there, I don't know, right? But regardless, you know, I heard the racist shit, I slid to the group, but...
Hey, say you don't say Hinduism and then flying monkeys.
I mean, I think it is flying monkeys.
Yeah, there is a monkey god in Hinduism. His name is
Haruman, Jai Shri Krishna.
He's actually quite venerated, so yeah.
Krishna.
He appears in the Ramayana. So go read the Ramayana. It's great. Fun story.
Jai Shri Ram.
I know about that man, but he slid that in. He was being slick. That's why he chose Hinduism all calculated. I know he did that. That's all he shot at the people in here that's black. That's what he did. So he's not slick. That's why he's quiet. He don't talk that to me. Because I've exposed him in multiple rooms. He's going to stay on mute.
Aren't all black men and black women gods? We are all gods, yes.
No, you know that he haven't said anything. I know that he was talking all type of tough shit to Daria, and he was very tough. Now he's quiet.
Krishna. Krishna.
I'm pretty sure Harman is blue.
Let us chant the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavans. No, the blue one is Krishna. Hanuman is a monkey, Korra.
Yeah, this guy raised character, but
He's a blue monkey and he's giant when he wants to be.
He's not always depicted as being blue. Blue connotes the divinity.
I don't know if he can hear me. Just let me know and I can, say.
Go ahead.
All right. My stance is believe in God. God is the most logical explanation for pretty much everything. If you believe in God, the Bible, I'm
knows about this. There's something called the semi-deviations, targeted semi-deviations. Can you tell him about it, Rico? I don't think he knows.
Age at the age of 9. Yes. Okay, so you said that she did not have her period, right?
It doesn't matter if you had a period or not.
Okay.
The fact is that your prophet had a sex minor and he was 54 years old.
Yeah, it's okay, but like the Jewish people used to marry 10-year-olds. It's okay. It's everywhere. Paul in First Corinthians did the same thing. So like it's all
Absolutely. They said the minimum age of marriage was 13, but everyone knows that that's not the case.
No,
That's horrendous.
That is not what Paul said. Let's continue. Yeah. So where was that?
So Sam, would you kindly read the hadith, please?
I think he should read it.
Sam, would you kindly read the hadith, please?
Messenger sent for me one coat morning, so I came to him. He was under the quilt with one of his wives, so he let me under the quilt and we became 3. Oh, they had a little snuggle fest. That's nice.
I was trying to find that in the side chat, but that's what it's
So recently I was talking.
Yeah, the Jews one.
This one said, I asked my teacher about the clothes of the Jews, and she said, I used to wash the Jews off the clothes of Allah, and he would go for prayer. Well, there were still water spots that were still visible. I mean, okay, so like at least he's trying to clean the jizz off his clothes, you know. I mean, he's a busy man. He can't wait for his jizz to dry it off when it's cleaned up. You know? So, I don't see a problem. But here's what I do see a problem with. So this is from Sahih Bukhari. This is Hadith 77. It says, when I was a boy of 5, I remember the Prophet took water from a bucket with his mouth, and he spit it in my face.
That's funny.
Okay, what number is that, Sam? I would like to read it actually. I'm reading this too.
Alright, this is Sahih Bukhari.
Can say thank you to God for giving me this ability, for blessing me.
Hadith 77, but
You say thank you to God for
yeah.
giving me this ability,
37.
for
Yeah,
blessing me.
77 in Bukhari.
And say thank you.
Here it is. I'm saying in the Okay, but he did not say he started. Mesh is growing. Okay,
Yeah, in Arabic, when I translated the Arabic directly, it does say spat.
Mesha means spat. Really? I did not know that. Let me see.
Yeah, Muhammad's out here spitting on 5-year-olds. I personally wait until they're a little bit older to spit in their face, you know what I mean?
Mesha means spit. Yes, but like what you do it in a pool with your kid, like why is it so weird?
I don't often spit in the face of 5-year-olds, especially, they didn't say he was in a pool. He said they were just drinking from a bucket, and he just spat in the face of a 5-year-old.
Why would he spit in his face? Like, why?
Because he's a fucking weirdo, bro. What's
It was playing. Do you know that? I'm helping you now, Sam.
Wow. I was about to bring that hadith, but wow.
Actually, yeah, I know, but I'm helping you. Like I'm helping him.
Well, he French did, first of all. He French.
No, it's not French. No, it's not.
Yes,
it's not. It's his grandson.
Oh, he that's exactly what it said.
It's his grandson in a mosque. Like he was next to him. The marriage of Aisha was all okay.
This guy is really real.
So, the other day, here's what I was doing. I was with 5-year-olds, as a kindergarten teacher, and I just kept chugging water and just spitting in their face one at a time, like, haktu, 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 haktu. And then all the kids were like, why are you spitting in our faces? And I'm like, I am the prophet of Allah. This is normal.
Hey, Sam, check this hadith out, man. I think you're gonna laugh.
Me too, Mikey. Sam, you got this hippie.
Yeah, I think you're Shia. Yeah, okay, I understand you.
Is that in your PTR?
No, I just put it on the side chat.
He's the next Muslim. It's not Shia. Don't belittle Shias.
Yeah, I think he was.
So, the messenger of Allah, I see on the face of Abu Hudayfa signs of disgust on entering of Salim, who is an ally, or upon Allah's also, Subhanahu said, suckle him. She said, how can I suckle him? He is a grown-up man. And Allah's messenger, peace be on him, smiled and said, I already know that he is a young man. Amir has made this addition in his narration. He persuaded the battle of Badr. So it's just that he's just telling Aisha to suckle this baby milk. Is that the idea?
Yes.
Give me that titty milk.
You should know the story, my friend.
Give me the titty milk.
I have a question. How
Have the answer.
hello, yeah. How does Islam negatively affect your life?
They kill the apostates and kill all the gays. They take Salman Rushdie and stab him in his face. They say,
And how does it affect you?
bend on your knees. And all of the West is like, oh God, please stop coming here with all your religious fanaticism. Please leave our girls alone with all your lots of jism. So when you Muslims, it is really great. Atheism is your fate. So you should do it now. Do not wait until it's late. You Muslim men, what do you do? Why do you listen to this man named Boo? He had sex with slaves, crucified dudes. In the battle of Kitover, he went and killed some Jews. You kiss on a rock, its color is black. You believe in barracks, and that is a fact. You say genies are real when we know they are fake. So I think that take a lesson from me. Your religion is real. Atheism is the truth.
I said atheism is the truth. Yeah. Bro, I'll be straight with you, yeah. I genuinely believe every human on this planet is afraid of God, even the atheists, because when you start telling atheists about God,
Why would you be scared of something that exists? Right?
they get scared and they start kicking you out the room, or they get
Are you
emotional.
scared of, like,
I've never come across a human that was afraid of God.
Hey, Sam. Can I read you something?
Buster, hey Buster, so when you're about to die in a car accident, who do you cry out to?
I say, oh shit, I'm gonna die.
And
you cry out all
and mothers, maybe their mothers. They cry out to their mother.
You were like, oh shit.
I cried out to J.K. Rowling.
Please don't stop.
Really?
I'm
You're
just
so
trying to become a big content creator one day.
serious
I
about
have no
your death in the
supporters.
family,
So
or
if you have,
I think you were worried about passing or failing,
I'm just trying to become a big
maybe a job
content
promotion.
creator one day. I have no supporters.
Oh,
Please don't scroll.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
just trying to become a big content creator one day.
Why would you say,
I have
oh
no,
God,
please
oh
don't
God?
scroll.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sexual, man.
It does.
I mean, only because it's coming from Buster. But
That's right.
I can't make jokes. I can't make jokes like that because it's
I'll make you say that.
Wow.
Give me.
no, I can't even make jokes.
All I'm saying is humans either two things. There's either two things. Either they're afraid of God or they hate God, and then they join to the devil.
Or they dumb fucking retards.
Exactly.
Well, they just don't believe in him.
Hey, Sam.
What's up?
It's true. They hate God because they wonder why. People that hate God.
What's up, Izzy?
Why did you move down me and Andrew yesterday and then make this?
You have to understand that I literally don't even remember doing that, and it might have been like a sleepwalking thing. I swear on my life, I don't remember doing it.
You were sleeping. Jeez.
By
you've done this weird fact about me. I don't remember anything I do like 5 minutes before or after I sleep. So like, you give me like you can gaslight me pretty hard. Like,
Hey, Sam, listen here. Do you have a wife?
Not anymore.
Do you used to hit her harder than you hit your slave? Or lesser than your slave?
I guess I would hit her harder than my slave because I didn't have a slave. So that would be zero amount hardness of me hitting a slave. So that me even brushing on her lightly would be harder.
That viewer named
Yeah, what the fuck? Hit that.
That's what I said.
The loaded question analogy failed.
Yeah,
So here's the
I thought do a decent
So Sahih al-Bukhari 5204 says, narrated by Abdullah bin Zama, the Prophet said, none of you should flog his wife as he flogs a slave, and then have sexual intercourse with her in the last part of the day. So the question is,
Please don't scroll.
how the hell do
I'm
you
just
get your
trying to
wife
become a big
down?
content creator one day.
Well, I didn't hit her. I mostly just used like being selfish, not doing the dishes. That was like mostly emotional damage, you know, more so than physical. Hey, I'm gonna read some interesting hadiths. Yeah, Muhammad spits on 5-year-olds. That's Sahih Bukhari. We got angels hate onions. That's Sahih Muslim. If a woman turns down sex, the angels will curse all her morning. Fuck you, bitch. Kill all the dogs, but don't wait. But hold on, don't kill that many dogs. Don't just kill the black ones because they're fucking devils. Those black dogs. Put on your shoes first, but take your shoes off with the left shoe first because you know that's important. That's an important thing to do, you fucking weirdo. Wipe your ass with an odd number of stones. Don't eat with your left hand because Satan eats with his left hand. Angels cause thunder. Can you Muslims not understand how fucking goofy it is that you say you have to believe this stuff?
Can I quote
None of this is real. None of this is fucking real, obviously.
Can I
If I
quote
told you, if I told you, hey, buddy, guess what? You should wipe your ass with 27 stones, and actually there's a goblin in the clouds, and also, you know what? The goblins, they hate fucking titty milk, and you know what? You kill all the green bunnies. You didn't say you're a fucking retard. Yeah, that's retarded. You fucking dinguses. What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Here's another hadith that I like as well.
You like the sexual ones, Phoenix. I think you should get an appreciation for the silly ones. I think the silly ones are better than the sexual ones. Like, well, being a sexual predator is like, that's funny.
I like the misogynistic,
Yeah,
racist,
I don't think all that sort of thing. I like the
hilarious too.
But
I'm more X-rated. Like I like to laugh really hard, like with the X stuff, because that's who I am. I love dark jokes.
You're a pervert.
Non-PC jokes. I love them. Here's another one.
Your PC jokes, so the perverted ones make you laugh more.
Yeah, I think it's pretty hilarious. So in terms of Sunan Abu Dawud 3922, it says Abu Dawud said, Omar said, a mat in the house is better than a woman who does not give birth to a child.
So you say so better to have a mat? It's better to have like a fucking carpet than it is to have a barren woman?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oof.
So, hey, women, I know that your pussy is broken. I know that all of your listen, women. I know that all of your hopes and dreams ended. You wanted a family since you were a little girl. You wanted a family, and I know that it's hard. You didn't control that your womb was barren and that you couldn't give birth. And I understand that that wasn't any fault of your own that you have a barren womb. But you're worse than a fucking carpet. You're worse than a fucking carpet, bitch.
I can show you the world. Oh, thank you so much. No, I was talking to the carpet bitch. You're a bear woman.
Oh, funny. Honestly.
Imagine if Aladdin was singing it to the carpet.
I like the idea of him riding on Aladdin, and the carpet is the one that he's romancing. You know what I mean?
And Jeff just think you should sing it. No, bitch, I'm talking about a bear woman. Why should I touch you?
I will wipe my feet on you.
I like the idea of going home. And then you see like the fucking carpet rolled up at the dinner table with like a plate of like some food in front of it. You're like, hey honey, nice to see you. Give it a kiss.
So question, what happens in like if a Jewish person steals from another Jewish person today?
I mean that's like a really advanced thing. It's how you tigers just don't attack each other? Like Jews, it's unwise for a Jew to engage in financial skullduggery against other Jews. Like why when lions go after like packs of buffalo, they usually go after the babies. They don't go after the fully horned ones. So Jews like to go.
No, there's a legitimate. There's why I'm asking, but so the only person that I know that's Jewish is in the audience. I think he left. Oh no, he's still there. He's probably.
You don't know that was
But you're making a silly joke. I mean, you're making a joke out of it. So
he's not like a real Jew. God,
Whoa, hey. Okay, you don't have to answer, but you're the only Jewish person that I know of.
Who's the audience Jew?
Kitover, if he's still if he wants to come up, I mean, that'd be cool. I'd say the guy is brilliant when it comes to like Torah,
It's
Gnosticism.
the guy who says he records everyone.
Yeah, knows a lot more than you do. I'm like, or me. How's that?
That's like a fucking, just a super troll.
Yeah, invite him up, Sam. No, it's not.
Please, no, it sounds like
Timothy, how much of the Torah do you know? I'm asking him a question, Timothy. How much of the Torah do you know?
I don't know what he knows. I think he's incapable of communicating like coherently with us.
So I disagree, but I mean that's between you and I guess. Sam.
Timothy, I have some bad news for you. So you know how you're my dog? You're my dog, Well, it turns out the Hadiths that the black dogs are all devils. So
white dogs,
it turns out you're a fucking devil because you're a black dog. So let's do that.
It also says in the Quran was it like the devil has blue eyes? So at least being black reduces.
And apparently farts as well.
Would probably be being that kind of a devil.
Hey, Sam, you know about the finger licking good hadith, right?
The finger licking hadith is only good in conjunction with Muhammad doesn't wash his hands after he shits hadith. Like those two work together nicely, but alone they're okay. It's kind of like a
combination of them. You making this like big exposition and presentation just doesn't really reflect well on you, bro. I was watching this fucking gay porno last night just to find out how disgusting these gay people really are. I don't think they really was.
One time I would have a prank war in high school with a buddy, and I filled his locker with gay porn. But you have to understand the level of failure that was for me because I had to look at a lot of gay porn and then print out a lot of gay porn and then look at the gay porn while I was reading gay porn. But then when he opened his locker, all he had to do was just rip it down. You know what I mean? It was like basically a kamikaze strike, And
I think that was
I lost my point.
Yeah.
Sam, I have a continuation of.
Don't do that.
Hey, Sam, I have a continuation of. I have the continuation of the hadith. So we're talking about wiping ass with stones, and then you eat your food, and then you have someone else that lick your finger. But did Muhammad ever do that? Did he ever wipe his ass and then go straight to eating? So here's the hadith. If you want to read my document.
So
So it says, Ibn Abbas says, the Prophet relieved himself, and then some food was brought to him, and he ate, and he did not touch water. And then Amir bin Dinar said, are you not going to wash your hands? He said, I'm not going to prayer. Why should I wash my hands? So, yeah, I guess he eats after he shits.
I feel it. No one thinks you're laughing sincerely. It was about like.
What do you mean? It's funny.
Obviously, you're not laughing sincerely. Obviously, like the point here was like Sam really not. I promise you, it's not funny.
I
That's
just
why no
know
one else
it
laughed.
can be changed.
That's why not only did no one else laugh, but I literally cued in your laughter because I knew it was going to be contrived. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why people are pretty convinced it's not funny.
Okay, so say. So when it comes to it, down to it, if I'm looking at the different religions, so what happens today? I'm saying today, if
What's it been like 3 or 4 years?
8 years, 7 months, 6 days. I haven't gotten him. The last time I saw him, I didn't see him because he left.
Jewish,
My dream is you, Jane. Alive, great to have you in Belfield, fighting war side by side, but then Hammer is killing you. Every time you use it, it's draining all your mortal strength, leaving you unable to fight the cancer.
I don't know, like there's no line.
Well, that's before I knew you might not have one.
I could choose someone to not have cancer. I'm not gonna keep fighting. I've been like that. And you want me not to do that? What's the point of more time
Usually what
like
happens is
this?
they just go,
Because I love
who
you.
gives a fuck? And then they move on with their life.
This is a chance for us.
so they're
If you
like
become a
a
damn hammer
so
again,
I'm
the chances
right now, and I'm trying to teach my children. This is how we're going to deal with them. All right, kids.
like Jewish
Jewish
people.
people on the stage.
What's it
Well,
been?
they're not Jewish people. So they're not allowed to basically press charges against each other, like as in using like a secular police force. No,
Let's pretend we're in America.
I think it's just like religious law. Obviously, not many people are going to observe it. I think
Okay.
probably a lot of people settle their disputes using whatever, like the secular legal system. But there's been historic cases in the UK where judges have basically complained and have criticised the Jewish like community because basically they just won't testify against Jewish like suspects or whatever
Really?
because of their religious obligations and stuff.
Well, here's what I find. As a Jew, when a Jew gets into a fight with a Jew, it's like, you'll hear from my lawyer. And then Jew goes, you'll hear from my lawyer. And it's like, my lawyer is named Moishe Goldstein. He's like, well, that's my lawyer. And the lawyer's like, oh, come on. I mean, you guys are both my clients. Come on. You guys don't need to fight. And they're all chuckling, hugging out. That's usually how it goes.
Oh my God, there should be a remake of like Blazing Saddles. But okay, so seriously, like anything like that is true. Like that Sam, that's what you're saying. Like that makes sense what he's saying. But so that's
Are you just asking questions, Kitty, or is there like a point you're trying to?
No, well, first of all, like what I'm hearing from Sam is that he's got this room going and he's saying these hadiths. And now, although Anders, who sounds very intelligent when it comes to his faith.
That's a lie. Come on, Chrissy. That's a lie.
No, I will defend that. I don't care if the guy quotes me everything else they like.
And resentful. Sounds really
I
dumb.
mean, that's each their own. When it comes to intelligence and faith, that's different than being an asshole.
He sounds upset all the time. It's very lachrymose. Sounds like he's on the verge of tears every time he
You
speaks.
say a lot of stuff about me. But so what I'm saying is like somebody like that would like completely look at me like I can't see two sides of the field. I think the entire time I can laugh when they say certain things about it because I know the truth about where my religion and faith stands today. You know what I'm saying? When I think about, you're right. So when I think about Jews or Muslims, if what I'm hearing Sam have room after room after room. Question about the hadith, that question about the hadith. They're talking to these people and they're saying, hey, here's a hadith about something that applies in a time frame historically that is not about today. Right? But they're not doing this. It sounds disingenuous is what I'm saying. Because if you ask a Jewish person the same question, I mean, I'm not getting really any kind of truth. But
so Lucy, this is perfect. This is a really good moment to illustrate my assessment.
Are you going to actually talk to my question?
No, I mean, seriously, like the level of anti-Semitism in America and amongst which demographics. Like, even though she's diametrically opposed to Muslims in this culture war, she's going to take a moment when she sees a Jewish person who she considers a mortal enemy, okay? Who's like the fact that Muslims have such ridiculous commitments. And she's going to put out, he too those commitments.
Atheist.
And I
And
think
I
that's
got more Muslim friends and Jewish friends in my back pocket than you have, like, in your life. And not because I'm older than you. I'm saying that
how old are you, Christy?
much older, probably old enough to be your mother. But
How
notwithstanding,
older than Daniel Nero?
I should be. No, I think we're about the same age.
Maybe a little bit older than me.
I think he's about maybe 3 years older than me. But Daniel, I don't know. He's what?
How old are you, Christy?
Okay, wait a minute. How are we doing this? Like, I thought we were
your age, well, I was interested.
Anyway, if I could just round it off with Sam.
So you were married?
Yeah,
You finally found something, Christy.
I don't know. Let's make Timothy the gentleman on the stage. How does he ask what your age is? I'm 40. How old are you?
Well, Daniel's on 40.
What's your weight? What's your shoe size?
About 230 now.
And how tall are you?
6'3".
Yeah, I'd like to see pictures of that because it sounds like you got a little man complex. But that's beside the point. Now that we've made this a personal thing, forget it, Sam. I don't have. I mean, like, you're the one asking a woman what her age is. Is it appropriate to ask a woman her age? I don't think I have to explain that.
Yeah, in this context, yeah.
And what is? Are you attracted to her? Is that what this is?
No.
Alright, so I want to tell you guys a funny story. I'm going to get you the tale. So I was talking about the story of Muhammad's second wife, whose name is, I think it's Sanad. Wait, hold on.
Aisha? Aisha, the second wife?
No, it's not his second wife.
Khadija, then it was Aisha. Who else would it be?
Here we go, another room. How long will this one waste your lives? How many hours? It's a beautiful day outside. You guys just keep talking about the same shit every single day, making no advancement while your personal life burns to the ground. Is it worth it? I'm asking a question. Is it worth it? All communication is projection. It's all projection. I'm just asking a question. How badly has your personal life suffered from being here all the time talking about the same shit? Isn't this just a modern day psychiatric holding facility? How long are you guys going to do this? Do you guys have a hope for the future?
You literally beat the fucking Hadith pornographer. Like, you know more about Islam than the guy who literally just pours over.
Yeah, I'm looking for training. All you need to do is give me like a week of reading something, and I'll beat the fucking experts, brother. You know? That's like the nightmare version of Dark Ariana's. Like Dark Ariana. He just feels very righteous that he likes to tell people that they're wasting their time talking about stuff and arguing about stuff. He feels superior to other people in some way.
It's not superiority. I'm accurately diagnosing the problem by saying you're all stroking your egos and wasting your time. Prove me wrong.
Like a human being, you gotta act like a clown online. You can't actually.
It's all just comedy at the end of the day. It's all pathetic. You don't even know you're a comedian. That's up. Let's see. What's other fun? Oh, I want to hear the follow-up.
So, what do you think about Venus's brutal takedown of psychophysical harmony?
You guys are going to talk about yesterday or today? I mean, any anything interesting?
Actually have a life. Go outside.
Are you triggered? Do we have one more? Can we keep it going?
Thank you.
And kick it for one more. Oh man, we're gonna make it a fucking perfecta. I'm gonna kick it for that one.
Against the U.S. Constitution and our U.S. government. Old retired people will bring everything that we have to a collection point, and it'll be a fucking war that you've never seen on American soil.
Well, I hope that will not come to this.
Dude, I hope it comes. I'm bored.
Well, people will die. Innocent people.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, not as many as Americans.
I'm talking about innocent American people will die.
Yeah. Come, please try.
What do you mean? If you will have like a war inside America?
Please try. You know there are more guns in America than there are Americans in America?
So Americans will die. I mean, you're proving my point. Like, why are you...
Yeah, but how are you going to get here and be an ineffective, like, unit against Americans? Like, you might get here with 100 people, but you might only live for, like, a day or two. You all die.
But there are other Americans. You're fighting other Americans, dude. Do you understand?
No,
this?
we're getting our illegals out of our country.
I'm talking about the legal ones. All of them are legal, not the illegal ones. It's not.
Well, if you're a legal person that is literally trying to, like, stop the arrest of an illegal because you're legal, you're obstructing justice, and that's a physical form, and now you're breaking the law, and I'm going to put you in jail for 2 years because you're obstructing justice.
Literally, we're having like two different conversations.
No, I don't think you realize that the protesters, for everyone that, like, puts hands anywhere near a cop, yeah, they get 2 years at a minimum.
Yeah, I wasn't talking anything like even remotely about this. That's fine.
Well, we're talking about, like, you know, if it's good for the goose. You want to talk about?
It was the Prophet Muhammad was having multiple wives because for a reason, okay, and just no hadith and no somebody spoken on his tongue to say that he done something like that. Okay, if you died like 100 years ago, and I said like, okay, you just insulted Katie in the middle of the room, who will believe? I think everybody will believe because there's no evidence for something like that. In fact, you did nothing to Katie. Just for people who want to destroy Islam's the idea, okay, let's find something trash.
Right, they do the same thing about the Bible. Yeah, that was weak, Phoenix. I mean, you could offend Sam about the
It's not
Bible.
only for Islam, it's for all the religions. Because
Yeah.
there's a lovers for something, there will be a haters. But this is very rude. This is very rude.
Now, there were
There's something called Rami al-Muhsanat. Rami al-Muhsanat. What Rami al-Muhsanat means? This is something in Islam and all the religions that you're saying that something happened and you didn't see it with your eyes. If I just say, okay, anybody, let me make it about me. So, okay, my friend said, Marley, okay, she fucked up with Andrew. Let's say, okay, she will go to hell because she didn't see what happened, and she's spoken by her mouth for something she have
Okay, we do this to Christian people sacrifice. Do this to people sacrifice.
Let's look at something.
What is your opinion?
Well, wait a minute.
You guys are claiming you're right.
Okay, so I'm having a look now on the research, okay?
Yeah, you are casting a sin and saying that I'm mixing it up.
Muhammad and his wife.
Shall do.
And I can tell.
Hold up, Marley. This is when you win. Let Sam own it.
There's fucking piece of shit. I fucking hate you guys. I literally hate you guys. Okay, Sahih. This is narrated by Aisha. This is from Sahih Bukhari. When Sauda bint Zama became old, she forfeited her day to Aisha, and the Prophet used to spend time with Sauda's night, spent it with Aisha. This is in various compilations from Bukhari to Muslim. Now, also in Sunan al-Tirmidhi, this is narrated by at-Tirmidhi on the authority of Ibn Abbas. He said, Sauda feared that she would be divorced by the Messenger of Allah. So she said, don't divorce me, please, keep me with you, and I'll give you my day that you spend with me, you give to Aisha.
Have you been there? He wasn't did you see them? Okay, I will say something.
Have you seen Muhammad in order to know if Islam is
That logic do we know about Noah? Do we see the flood? Ah, come on, Buster, you can't win this one. Yeah, give it to the atheist.
Do you have a brain? I haven't seen it.
I just want
There's plenty of people that can do next one.
Marley,
I respect you. I don't know what is your
Marley, you accused me of having no evidence. Now I just read two different hadiths, and I gave you two different scholars.
Tell me what the hadith.
And now you should now say, Sam, I apologize. I thought you had no evidence, but I was wrong.
Please tell me, okay, where is this hadith? This is not in the link?
No, it's not in the link. This is not in the link, and that's what I'm trying to look up, and I don't see it either. So, hey, Phoenix.
If this link is written by somebody and this is not,
Sam's mouthpiece. Why don't you explain why Sam's coming up with this response?
I can write something and just send you a link to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what do you want?
Yeah, we can just write whatever we want. Stick it in
So
the chat.
I can just go right now to Sunnah.com. All right. So if I want to, first of all, I said it was a Mabait, and I gave you my source right there, so you can actually see it. But right here, and then go press in the search bar, say Sauda, right? The word Sauda, right? And then look what it's about. There are many ones about Sauda. The first thing that comes up, Sunan Ibn Majah, 1972, narrated from Aisha that when Sauda bint Zama grew old, she gave her day to Aisha, and the messenger of Allah went to Aisha on Sauda's day. What else does it say here? Bulugh al-Maram, 755. Aisha narrated Sauda, the wife of the Prophet, asked the night of al-Muzdalifah to leave earlier to Mina. She was a heavy and slow woman, meaning fat, huge lady. In other words, the Prophet gave her permission agreed upon. And the list just keeps going on and on. Sunan Abu Dawud, 2138. Aisha's wife of the Prophet reported when Allah's apostle intended to go on a journey, he cast lots amongst his wives, and the one who was chosen by Lot went on in it with him. He divided his time, day and night, and for each his wife, except that Sauda, daughter of Zaman, gave her day to Aisha. We know where the story comes from. So it just keeps going. Sunnah Abi Dawud, 3715. I can just keep reading this over and over. And which one is yours, Sam?
I posted in the link on the top of the chat. So I pinned the link to my Gemini conversation, and you can just follow all of the fucking links that it gives you multiple different citations. You can just follow them all up.
Thanks, Sam. Can you click the link that Phoenix put in the chat? Because I just clicked it and I looked at this very, I would say, expose that's like an investigation. If you look at the context that comes with this that he put in there, this is very, very, I would say, Islamophobic. And I'm a Christian. I'm like a super Christian. They're like definitely not Muslim, right? All right, like click on that link and look at where the authors of that link come from.
Katie, I want to say something, Sam. Let's say, okay, what you are telling happened, okay, which I 100% don't believe. What's your problem? this will never happen. Okay, but what's your problem? Why are you talking for something you have never seen? What's this?
What's my problem?
What's wrong? There's nothing said. Okay,
Marley,
let's say
you haven't seen the other Molly. You never seen it happen. You know it's Marley, Molly. You know it didn't happen. You can see the Marley. Marley, do you have a brain?
Yeah, I have a brain.
How do I know you have a brain since I haven't seen it?
Because I'm human.
But that's your logic, right? How do you know if you're not there? Well, how do I know you have a brain? Like, what kind of logic is this? Do you understand? It's ridiculous.
So you're comparing something that doesn't relate to the topic. That's what you're
doing. It's exactly what you're asking for. You say you've never been there. How do you know? Well, I've never seen your brain either. So how do I know you have?
Okay, so if I'm talking, okay, if there's something bad, okay, I hear something bad. Let's say I hear, let's say Katie. I don't mean anything, Katie. Okay, let's say I hear that Katie have done something, a trash thing. Okay, I hear that. Should I spread that over the world? Okay, and by the way, Katie have never done that.
So
that's the same thing. That's what can I relate to?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm taking reliable, even Kathir, Tabari, the Hadiths. There are multiple different sources of evidence that this happened. Now, because there's evidence that there's good evidence that it happened, you should believe that it happened. Now that I believe that it's happened, I can say evaluate the character of a man who doesn't love his wife enough that when his wife says, "Hey, please don't divorce me. I know I'm getting old. I know I'm kind of fat, but please don't divorce me." You would expect a decent man to say, "You're my wife. That is a sacred trust. I will protect you. I will protect you until the day that you die. I don't care if you're ugly. I don't care if you're
I'm not wasting my time.
Do you not know how to control yourself? None of you know how to control yourselves. None of you know how to control yourselves. You're like pieces of shit. Okay, I'm explaining my perspective, which is if someone says, their wife says, "Hey, I'm scared you're going to divorce me because I'm a little bit old." Go, "I married you because I love you. Not because you're young and pretty. I married you because I want to spend my life with you. I love you. And you have been a good wife to me. And I'm not just here because you're a hottie. That's not the only reason why I love you. And also, I know that if I divorced you, you'd be in a lot of danger because our society doesn't make it easy for widows and single women to be alone in this world. So of course I'm not going to divorce you." So that's what Muhammad should have said. But instead what he said is, "You're right. I will fuck Aisha instead of spending time with you. I'm going to spend my time with Aisha because I like young pussy and I don't like spending time with you because you're old and ugly." That is not the behavior of a good man. Who doesn't even know what love is, who doesn't know what marriage is. It's a despicable behavior of someone who uses women as cum buckets rather than human beings on which to have relationships with. It is cruelty. It is not seeing a woman as a human being, someone who has value for the things in their head, their thoughts and their feelings. It's seeing some women purely as a sex object. It is the most objectifying thing. I don't even think objectivism is that bad in the sense of finding women hot. But to say that to a woman, "I've dedicated my life to you, but now you're a little ugly, I'm going to have to divorce you," that is despicable behavior. And if there's good evidence that it happened, it's Tabari, it's the Hadith, it's Ibn Kathir. There's lots of evidence that it happened. And you are following a man who does not know what love is, who does not know how to protect a woman, who does not know how to say to a woman, "I know you're insecure, but I love you. I love you and I will spend my life with you." Why? Because you are my wife, and it is my duty as a husband to protect you. No, he says, "Let me fuck the young hot girl instead of you, and stop complaining or I'll divorce you." That is the behavior of a fucking scoundrel. A scoundrel. And you're saying he's good? What is wrong with you? Man.
Sam, I think just went up. I mean, what else could you say other than that? But let me read something else that I actually, since someone actually brought this up and said, who was it, Dr. D? He's not here, but it was funny that he was saying that, it was just a little smooch, like it wasn't sexual the way that Muhammad kissed his grandson. You tell me, I'm going to read this, and the other is 4791. The other one is Al-Mustadrak al-Sahihain, which is 4791 as well. And sorry, 4820, my apologies. And not stopping loving this man after I saw the Messenger of Allah do what he did. I saw Al-Hasan in the lab. I love him. So love him. And the other one goes, the second hadith goes, narrated by Iyada al-Amri. He put one hand under the back of his neck and the other under his. Then he placed his mouth on his mouth, kissing him. Yes, the third one. This one's the most graphic one out of all of them. Narrated by Muawiyah, which is, by the way, one of the caliphs. I saw the Messenger of Allah suck his tongue, or he said his lip, meaning that Al-Hasan ibn Ali, peace be upon him, and no tongue or lip that have been sucked by the Messenger of Allah will be tormented in hell. You tell me that's not sexual. That's pretty darn sick.
Yeah, it seems pretty sexual. As I said, I'm not particularly bothered by the gay stuff that Muhammad does. Like, I'm happy to grant that Muhammad did some gay stuff, but like that, I mean, maybe the Muslims don't want to grant it. I don't care. What I care about is silly stuff and evil stuff, not gay stuff.
Yeah, but what really gets me is I can contextualize this. I can find a reason to say that at that time and in that place, that wasn't so out of place. But the question is, what is this supposed to show? What sort of, value or teaching through the ages should be derived from that? Because it's something that happened during the lifetime of Muhammad, and there was between him and his grandson, and it would not affect believers like hundreds of years down. I don't see why such a hadith are actually in there. I really don't see the reason why. Cui bono?
Yeah, I don't know who benefits from having them in there. I just think that these texts are like, at the time they had different moral priorities than us. So they didn't realize how offensive it would seem. Just like in the future, when everyone's eating lab-grown food, and they're like, wait, hold on, what did you do to animals? We just don't see it as bad. They didn't see, all this stuff about, oh yeah, of course you divorce a woman because he's ugly, or of course you crucify someone for doing mischief in the land. And they didn't realize that, oh yeah, maybe in the future people will think different about this. Offends me more than a lot of these other stories.
Yeah, but that's a story. That's what I'm trying to get to.
No, but
I mean, just 1 minute before. I have to say, and I really apologize in advance if I offend anyone in the audience or throughout the world by saying this, but I'm not really sure how reliable a source Aisha is when she talks about stuff that concerns her. Yeah. And I certainly don't consider Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan a reliable source. How valuable they are as well.
Okay, so I just want to say something. What's the actual hadith source that is authentic that says something like that? I never, ever heard Sunnah.com. Bro, I clicked the link you sent, right? It doesn't say that. It's talking about Adam and Eve. Okay, so I'm just going to be really clear right now. Bring me the source, and it must be a hadith that is authentic. Because otherwise, I will call you a liar if you say Islam says so.
So we go on the Gemini, look at the pinned link. Do you not see the pinned link?
No. I don't care about the Gemini. Give me the number.
It tells you all the citations are there.
Okay, but why can someone just send it?
I already have the information. It's right there, man. Just click on it.
Okay, let's go into. It's weird that it comes from you and not the one who said it, but okay.
Well, I'm talking about the Salvador story. I'm not talking about the kissing on the boy story. I don't know.
Oh, you want the source of the kissing on the boy story? I can give it to you tomorrow.
I'm talking specifically about what you just read. Because, hey,
Which one?
The thing that he kissed a boy or a man or whatever.
Yeah. All right, then post. Yeah, fine.
Yeah, that specifically about that.
Already, but I already posted it on the side chat, but I'll find it again.
I clicked on your link. It speaks of Adam and Eve. What do you mean?
You must have clicked on. I've sent a lot of links up in this on the chat. Let me just bring it.
Maybe I got it confused, but just clarify it. Want the source?
Sure. Let's go and get the source.
From an authentic hadith.
An authentic hadith for you?
Yeah, I never heard anything like this within Sahih al-Bukhari, Muslim, never. What are you talking about?
So, we got Musnad Ahmed here, so let me just bring it up. Not here. Yeah, here it is. So, this is from. So, I'm just putting it again on the side chat for you guys. There you go.
Alright, let's check this out. Alright, this is from
a Reddit source. Okay, let's read it. But it's from Reddit. Okay, just keep that in mind.
Apparently these are all rated as Sahih. It's interesting. Okay, so you got narrated by Abu Huraira. I've not stopped loving this man after I saw the messenger. Dude, I saw Al-Hassan still in love. He put one hand under the back of his neck, and under his chin. Then he placed his mouth on his mouth, kissing him. Narrated by Mu'ayyiyah. I saw the messenger suck on his tongue. Or Ali kissed upon him. And no tongue or lips have been sucked by the messenger. No tongue or lips have been sucked by the messenger of Allah will be tormented, no. And it says all of these hadiths are classed as Sahih.
So actually, look what I'm gonna do, okay? Because first of all, the first red flag is from a Reddit link, okay? So clearly, Phoenix was not honest on his initial research. He didn't went on a Muslim website to search actual Muslim hadith. No, he actually went probably on Google and said, let's find out something about Muhammad. And then the first thing that appeared was a Reddit link with an image, a picture someone could have written down himself, right? So I think this is a red flag for me from the start, okay? But I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna actually try to find this source in a official website. So yeah, let's see if this is actually honest or dishonest. I'm curious. Let's see what it says in the original. Anyone could take any text, switch it up on, and just twist the meaning out of it and try to make it a.
Cool. So I'm now on hadithunlock.com, and it says so it's a sound hadith. Okay, so that's one.
No, well, here it says. By the way, I just want to say this: the first search I did. Qaboos is labeled not to be taken as a proof for weak memory. This is the first search. Simple search. That's the first thing I see. And the Reddit source says it's an authentic hadith. This is obviously, there's an obvious contradiction. That's first. So yeah, you could.
I'm on hadithunlock.com, and this one says it's a sound chain. It says it's Arnaut. I don't know what that means exactly. Arnaut.
Could you do you mind sending me the reference?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Let's see what Arnaut means. Oh, he's a scholar. And the scholar said that it's a sound chain. Cool. So, I think the scholar said this is a sound chain. And it says, I saw the messenger licking his tongue and kissing his lips with the boy. Cool. This is, you're being fucking denialist about this stuff. This thing isn't. There are multiple sound hadiths
indicate a site that I just found, which is hadithunlock.com, and it'll tell you who graded it and who was the scholar that decided it was authentic.
Look, I'm on an official website right now. Okay? Look what it says.
So am I. Hadithunlock.com is an
Okay,
official website.
could you send a link so then at least I understand where, like, what you're looking?
Why are people so fucking unfathomably lazy? Unfathomably lazy. I just told you the easiest thing I did in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
I took the image, I put it in ChatGPT, I said, give me a citation, and then it gave me a link. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. And these people are so fucking lazy. Okay.
Or you came in a butt, I don't know.
Alright, there. Hadithunlock.com. Can you now look at the link that you made me go get for you, even though it was trivial for you to get for yourself? There's some fucking gall of some people. Oh, I don't believe it until you give me the link, even though the link is trivial to find. And then I fucking find the link, you don't even click it. I'll read the hadith from hadithunlock.com. The narrations from Abbas Muhammad, Yaqub, to Al Hassan, Afan, to Himani, to Sufyan, to Abu Hind, to Muhammad Sirin, to Hurayan. I still love this man after seeing the Prophet of Muhammad doing what he was doing. I saw Hassan come to the Prophet's room, and while he was putting his fingers to the Baba beard, I saw the Prophet putting a tongue in his mouth, and he said, "Oh Allah, I love him so much. You should love him." I thought, and it's created a sound. It's created a sound.
Okay, so I read this one. Okay, this is talking about like one of his grandchildren. He was a baby. Okay, but even that, I'm gonna say there's an official. I mean, right now I'm on an official website. It gives the grading of that hadith. Please, could you at least do a copy, paste it on ChatGPT, and say grade that hadith if it is authentic or da'if. Here I have 3 independent sources that says it's da'if. It's not even authentic.
Even if it was not, even if it was authentic, what's the problem with it? In the States, the woman
means if it's not backed up by a change, like chain of narration, it's just
in the States, women kiss their sons on the mouth, and they do that. So do they say that, oh, this is disgusting, what is that? Yeah, I don't know, like, maybe they did not have the idea of tongue kissing as a sexual thing. You know, it's French.
French. So it says the Prophet.
I'm just saying, this is a Shia report.
When the Prophet says put his tongue in his mouth, when it says that the Prophet put his tongue in his mouth, I shouldn't interpret that to mean he put his tongue in his mouth. Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what I said. I said that it was not interpreted as a sexual thing.
No. Listen. I'm just saying that this is a verse.
You're laughing. Give me your answer. Would you allow me to put the tongue in here?
Themselves say there's 3 independent sources. Look, I could quote it to you. Ibn al-Khattani, Ibn al-Salah also graded this report as da'if. Okay, first one. Here another one. Yaman bin Sa'id al-Masisi, who is ranked as da'if. Another one. Like, all the sources, it doesn't take much. You take it, you look if there is a break in the chain. If there is a break in the chain, it's just a rumor. It's not authentic. And people is going to go specifically in our graded narrations that are weak in order to kind of bring a claim. It doesn't work like this. You have to take from authentic sources. Now, the Reddit claim or the Reddit Ptolemy could say, yeah, oh look, this is authentic, but yeah, he could lie. He could just take something from our weak sources and say it's authentic, and then everyone believes it. I'm gonna show you the proof of what I'm saying. I'm gonna send the link right now. Yeah, for me, so I'm reading it right now. It shows as Sahih. I'm showing that it shows as Sahih. Well, you're not listening. I'm showing that it shows as Sahih. Are you hearing me? Am I audible? Sam, am I audible? Yeah, I can hear you. So I'm showing it as a Sahih narration. Grading by Al-Hakim. Al-Hakim graded as Hadith as authentic according to the conditions of Sahih Muslim. Grading by Al-Dahabi. Agreed with Al-Hakim's grading his Taqis al-Mustadrak. Confirmed it as Sahih. I'm showing that it's being graded as Sahih. Okay, go to the link I sent you right now. Yeah, well, I'm just saying there's going to be competing gradings, right? On one hand, some people say it's Sahih and other people say it's Da'if. So now you've got competing problems because there's some people that say it's not. I mean, you're trying to say that it's 100% Da'if. Yeah, I mean, with all that's not according to if you certain. No, it is. You took that source from a Shia, and from the Shia tradition, you went out and you took it from the weakest source they have. Bro, they say, look at the link I sent you. They themselves will say to you, it's a weak source. It's not authentic. Look it up.
Yeah,
So no, I just did look it up, and this is not a Shia source. So it's not. I asked Shia source, and it says no. All must to Mustadrak. Al Sikhiyan by Al Hakim. Yeah, it is a Hadith collection. So you're not lying.
So here's another video from Al-Adab al-Mufrad. Same hadith, by the way, Al-Adab al-Mufrad 1183, and it's been graded by Sahih by Albani himself. Sorry, Hassan by Albani himself. So this has actually been graded as Hassan by Albani himself. And you know, Albani is probably one of the greatest muhaddiths there is. So if you're going in this regards, then go ahead, try doing that.
Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna do it like that. If you present a claim like this, you want to claim it's sahih, you have first to quote me the musnad. I want to hear the musnad actually. So that we will make sure you're actually going to the sources. So cite me the musnad. I want the verified chain one by one. All the names, present them to me right now with who said it, like who reported, who said it was authentic. Go ahead. If you're not able to do this, you're the liar, because I'm gonna do it. Shut the fuck up! You don't know what you're talking about. You don't stand here and say every time we have this. You don't say every time you say now notice the standards coming and notice the standards. That's it. Guys, notice the standard here. Now, first of all, these are muhaddithin. This is literally their job to actually grade hadiths. Now, if he wants to be a muhaddith, he'd be like those guys who have counter isnad chains and have actually did their work and have come to a conclusion and say, now I'm the one who's going to come to a conclusion. Give me the isnad chain for that. See the standard. That's not true. He's now doing something that to say that I can do whatever hadith is right, Hasan or Sahih. Did you see the crazy standard here, guys? Okay, no, that's not actually what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the following. I just showed you a source, direct source, where you could read it. There's 3 independent scholars that will tell you why it is da'if. And then I quoted to Al-Albani. No, this is Al-Albani. Listen. This guy is saying the opposite. So therefore,
This is Albani.
Hold on,
who's you're going to have to recite your truth. If you can't do so, you're a liar.
I mean,
This is Albani giving his reading.
you made a mistake. You said a different hadith that is graded. You said the one where he's allegedly kissing the genitals, not to the one where he's sucking on his thumb.
That's the one we're talking about. No.
No. If you go further up, they were talking about a different one. You mixed them up.
I'm gonna just 1 moment. Sorry.
I, by the way, linked my source for the Isnad chain for Albani that says Hassan. Yeah, basically, like you're saying that the Prophet sat with his grandson at his mouth in a mosque where people could go in. So is that your claim? Does anyone claim that the Prophet went into a mosque with his grandson, who was like literally a baby, and started doing something sexual to him, and it was not okay at the time? That's how you argue it, I mean.
Okay, now we have the link to the actual Sunnah.com. And I mean, you will see it's not the one that you referenced. You referenced one where it's talking about genitals. I've heard about this one.
Okay, no, I thought we were.
No, it's okay. It's okay. There's so many.
This is my mistake. I'm going to research the other.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. And again, I personally, I don't see the relevance of such a hadith. I wonder why such things are narrated. At that place, this meant nothing. I don't even see what is to be imitated. What does this hadith teach the faithful? Yeah, I'm not saying this is wrong, or this particular hadith, to which Phoenix Fly just sent the link in Sunnah.com. What is the value for the believers to narrate something like that? I really wonder.
So what are we doing now?
Yeah, no, I'm literally saying now. I'm trying to find who reported that. What's the chain? Is it authentic? So now this is a research I'm doing. So yeah, let me tell you if this is truly authentic or not. That's basically.
Well, it's Sunnah.com and it quotes Al-Albani as grading it Hassan, so there you go. I'd actually myself be interested to see the full chain, to see who is at the very, very beginning of that chain. Because I think that is far more important than than the actual chain, but never mind.
Well, according to what I have, it says Abu Abbas Muhammad ibn Yaqub. That's the first. And it goes to that, to Al Hassan. From that, to Abu Yahya, and then from Sufyan, to Nu'ayan, and Muhammad ibn Sirin, and just move the goalpost and go, well, that's not enough. It needs to be 9, or it needs to be 10, or whatever, right? Well, nothing's going to satisfy him because he just wants to say it's Daif. And no evidence to the contrary will make you change it.
So I just looked it up. So
did I.
Did some people say it's Hassan? The answer is yes. Okay, there are people who said this is Hassan, but there's actually contradiction. Why? Because here I see that Ibn al-Qitan al-Fasi, he said that it is Daif because it is considered by Abdurrahman al-Jarashi, who is majhul. We say he's unknown. We don't actually know.
Yeah, but remember, you started off saying that it was fully Shia and it wasn't even like worth your time, right?
Listen,
and then we showed you that wasn't true.
That was a mix-up. Yeah, I thought it was about another quotation. So that was another place. Now I'm specifically on. Here it is. It's Musnad
Hassan or Sahih, right? And then you got one person saying no, it's Daif, right? You're not going to be able to stand here with a straight face and tell us that it's just a Daif, it's a Daif hadith, and we were just ridiculous for even saying anything about it, right?
It's worse than scholars that said it because there's a variant. There's a variant of the same report. Since there's a variant of the same report, and in the chain there's someone who's unknown, there's a red flag there already.
Okay,
because
sorry, I just wanted to jump in. Am I forced to believe it? Anything that like you want to believe, you go, am I allowed to believe it? Like as a Christian, you have different standards of evidence for things that you don't want to believe versus what you do want to believe. That's just the definition of fucking confirmation bias. That's why everyone is fucking living their little polluted bubbles of confirmation bias. So when we're showing you evidence that is graded as Sahih or Hassan, you should go, that is evidence that those things. Now you finding one guy saying it's Daif does not then tell you that, oh yeah, it's definitely not fucking Sahih. You should say, oh, well here are multiple people saying Sahih and Hassan, and you found one person, and then you shouldn't fucking do confirmation bias. You should weigh them equally.
I got you, but what I'm saying is this. The first initial claim I heard, and I don't know if the Reddit, I'm going to look up after what the Reddit post says, okay? The first claim I heard was that the hadith was authentic. It is false. This is a lie, first of all. No, the hadith is not authentic. The hadith is and was graded by some scholars Hassan. Okay. Now I agree to that. Let's keep on moving.
What does Hassan means reliable, right?
Damn.
Hassan means, no, let's just get our terms right. When you say Hassan means reliable, right? I know, I understand that. Just define the term.
Al-Arnadut, it is Da'if. That's the point. So
does Hassan mean reliable, yes or no?
So from what I heard and what I researched, and saw.
So you're just afraid to answer. You're afraid to answer.
It's really.
Does Hassan mean reliable? Yes or no?
It's Sahih. The hobby rates is Sahih.
Sahih means reliable, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. So when if there's a multiple people and there's a clear chain showing that it's either Hassan or Sahih. You can't just because of one person saying it's Daif, you can't throw that out. Your own Sunni, your own Sunnah would not allow you to do that, right? Those are authentic chains from reliable.
Here's the full claim. The full claim is it's not even just Hassan. It's Han and Da'if. You know why? Because that's what the scholars have reported about that saying. So to come off first and say, no, it's a hadith that is sahih, authentic, as if everyone's going to say, oh, it's authentic for them. Perfect, we got them. No. Actually, it's not just Hassan, it's Hassan Da'if. You need to understand that.
So, I don't even know what any of that means, but I'll just say this, like, it shows, well, hold on, you talked. I said, Al-Hakim labeled the Isnad as Sahih, meaning it means the conditions of authenticity of Bukhari or Muslim. And Al-Dahabi affirmed this status as well, right? So, and all the narrators in the chain are recognized as trustworthy or thiqah, and honest means saduq. right, by class scholars, including Sufyan, Muhammad ibn Sirin, Nu'aym ibn Abi Hind, and Abu Yahya al-Hamidani, right? So those people are considered authentic. They're not considered to be liars. They're considered to be reliable people, right? So it's not going to be upon you to say something like, hey, even though these people said it, you can just throw it out the window. You cannot do that under your own jurisprudence.
There is a variant from another report in the chain, meaning there's a red flag. That's what I pointed out.
But if you have 8 people saying it's good and one person saying it's bad,
I mean, can you just give me a second to
hear my claims, all right? So there is a variant. That's one. Second, I told you, look at the scholarly consensus on these hadith. You will come up with 2 definitive claims. Do the research. Don't believe me. Do the research. Look for sources for that. You will see. It is disputed. It is either Hasan, which means reliable, or Da'if, which means weak. So it is in one of these 2 categories, not the first claim that Phoenix said when I came into the discussion, which he claimed that it was sahih, authentic, with no dispute. You need to understand the difference, guys. Because if you don't understand that difference,
MD, go.
you'll have a difficulty to
MD, what's up? What's up, MD? You wanted to talk for a while, what's up?
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to do discussion on this thing. So I was listening for a while, and I think that as you have respectfully said that there are 2 opinions. The first one is which brother have said that some scholars says that it's Da'if hadith, and some says that it's Hasan. So I'm assuming that you already know about what Hasan means actually. The thing is, which I feel is which is more important to establish, is that how do you define this as a sexual act, first of all? What are the foundations of establishing this thing as a sexual act?
When you were sexual, you just said he tongue kissed a young boy.
Yeah, so from this thing, what do you want to establish?
That he tongue kissed a young boy, that's it.
So what does this define actually?
Listen, I don't give a fuck if he tongue kissed someone. I think it's much more evil that he did other things. But a lot of Muslims
how does it
many Muslims are very homophobic, and the fact that you guys are freaking out about that this might be Sahih seems that you think that it's bad.
I'm not going on.
You don't just say, oh, maybe deal, but you don't feel that way because you guys are the ones that are freaking out about the idea that maybe Muhammad is doing gay shit.
Sorry, I just want to know. I just ask you a simple question: how do you think that's an evil thing, or that's something which is disputable, something like that?
Okay, I think it's immoral to tongue kiss in a pedophilic way young children. I think this
so. How do you have to first establish that it was a pedophilic way?
I don't give that much of a fuck about this. It's much worse to do other things that Muhammad did. It is you guys. If you want to say, hey, it's not morally bad to tongue kiss children, men to tongue kiss children, you can say that. Then why are you fighting on us that it's maybe Sahih? Because we're not claiming that it's Hassan. We're claiming that it's Sahih. That they're 2 different scholars.
I'm not disputing on that. You're wasting your time. I'm saying that whatever. Let's say, for example, it's a Sahih, or it's a Hassan, for example. So you have to define how does the act established as pedophilia. You have to define that first.
Okay. Usually, what we mean by pedophilia is doing sexual things with young children. So usually what we mean by sexual acts is kissing, touching the genitals of, touching the breasts of, touching the anus of, penetrating. It's usually what we mean by sexual acts. So if I tongue kiss, a 13-year-old girl, most people say that's sexual because kissing, penetrating, breast touching, butthole touching, pussy touching, those things are what we usually call as sexual activities.
Okay, so let's make this as foundation. Let's start with the kissing thing. So if a parent or a grandparent has
kissing. People don't. We're not talking about just lips touching to somebody. That's not in question. The idea is that if you tongue kiss somebody, nobody in this world thinks that that's not sexual. So we're not going to argue with you. We're not going to have you say you need to establish that tongue kissing somebody is not considered sexual. We're not going to have that discussion.
Please don't extend that time. I am waiting on that thing.
So you accept that tongue kissing is bad? Is sexual?
No, I don't.
So what do you mean you're not debating? That is the debate. The debate is tongue kissing considered sexual?
That's what I'm establishing. Yeah, that's what I'm establishing according to you. And it's a sexual act, and according to the different cultures, it can be different thing. For example, so you believe that kissing genitals and kissing all these like lip kissing, for example, you term the lip kissing of children is termed as a sexual act. So tongue kissing is for example.
It's always funny to me saying the fucking bullets that Muslims will bite, right? They just bite the goofiest bullets ever. Right? They're standing here trying to say like, you need to establish shoving your tongue down somebody's mouth is not considered sexual. You need to establish that. Yeah, I don't have any reason to think it is sexual.
No, it's easy. It's very clear. It's very simple. But then can you give me a second, please?
Other people, okay? Just.
So you asked me to look. You asked me to look at the Chat GPT. So here's what I said. I said, are there any scholars that rated it as weak, and if so, why? It's this great question. Hadith 4791 was graded Sahih and affirmed by Al-Dhahabi, and some later Sunni scholars. What the scholar was like, no, I'm not. We're not. This was a discussion before, right? Some scholars of Hadith criticism didn't necessarily reject the text, but they raised concern about the specific narrators of the Isnad. Here's the key figures in question, right? And so it says some early critics like Ibn Ma'in and Ibn Hibban considered him weak. Others like Al-Masai and Al-Daraqi noted errors in his hadith. The defense is, however, others like Ibn Adi thought his narrations were acceptable in non-legal contexts, especially if supported by other chains. Right? So the conclusion, the majority of classical scholars accepted the hadith due to its strong emotional and spiritual content and the general reliability of most narrators. A few scholars noted potential weakness in the Isnad, mainly due to Ibn Yahya al-Hamani, but not enough to fully dismiss the hadith, especially the category of virtue, where standards are slightly more lenient. So there you go. You asked me to do the research, I did it for you.
So there you go. You just proved it's not an authentic.
So no,
thank you very
much. You didn't prove it at all. You just didn't bro. What are you talking about? Most people thought it was authentic. There was a handful of people that didn't.
Yeah, but that is enough doubt. You have just said there is enough doubt for someone like Amin to come and say he doesn't accept it. I totally accept Amin's logic on this one. I have to say that.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, right? The point is the Sunni, in Sunni jurisprudence, you are not allowed to just outright reject hadiths that are considered Sahih or Hasan, right? Now, you could say, well, there was one or two people that thought they weren't, but most of the people do. And that would just not be going within jurisprudence of the Sunni, right? Not at all. In the context of the Sunnah, that's not going to work.
If you want to convince a Muslim, and then there is this little slither of a doubt on a hadith like this, do you think they're not going to take it? I would take it. I would do exactly the same if somebody came with some, manuscript from the church fathers or something like that, and I saw even the slightest slither of doubt on a strange, I'll just term it strange.
No, you're just saying confirmation bias. That's just confirmation bias. If I show you 10 studies that say, oh, this is the effect of minimum wage, and then there's one study that contradicts the 10, and you go, I'm going to go with the one. That's you just being literal, have confirmation bias. It's just the definition of confirmation bias. Now, Sufyan said, likely refers, is a highly reliable translator. Nulayam, Abihim, Muhammad, is all considered Thika. Abu Yahu, Al-Himana, and Al-Hassan, Ibn Affan are also accepted in hadith
no accusations of catalyst, concealment. It is Al-Hakim and al-Dhahabi, who said they're both said it's Sahih. It's consistent with other narrations. There are multiple authentic hadiths showing the Prophet expression to Al-Hassan and Al-Hussein. There's no known contradiction with the Quran. So it is not okay for you to just say, well, I don't like it, so I'm going to throw it out. That is just confirmation bias. You, at best, here's what you can say is, hey, it's probably true, but there's a little bit of doubt. That's what you can say.
Thank you. So first, just let's go in a very simple and logical way. Let's say first, and just please let me know who I'm talking to, either Sam or Tim or whoever. So yeah, thank you. Respectful, I want that please others don't kind of like jump in between. If you want, you can raise your hand. So it will be like a very good conversation where people can understand everything, even in the audience as well. So first of all, let's even get a benefit of doubt. And let's say I do agree with you in terms of like many scholars say that, for example, it's Hassan. So we have consensus that there are some scholars who is agreeing. I don't have any problem with that. The thing which we have to establish first of all is this, as I discussed earlier, is that you have to establish that the tongue kissing is something pedophilic. We have to first establish that foundation. So just to ask you a clarification question to Sam, because I'm not to you. So can you define first of all that if a parent or a grandparent is touching his or her own kid or grandkid in a tongue, so do you think, or on lips, let's say for example, is it pedophily according to you?
Yeah, so there are a number of, yes, and a number of actions that.
So what evidence do you have?
Here's some things that if I saw a parent do to their child, I would say it was child molestation. So if I saw a parent tongue kiss, blowjob, stick their tongue in the anus, stick their penis, put their penis in their vagina,
as well,
rubbing their penis to all these, sucking on their breasts, I would consider all of these child molestation.
Okay, just can we stick to only the thing which we have, just which we're discussing about the tongue kiss? Are you bringing all of multiple things into the same thing?
You wanted to know what standard to judge something as child molestation, and I gave you them.
Yeah. So what is okay? So just to very streamline, what is your evidence of like if you believe that that tongue kissing by someone is deemed to be a sexual act? So what is your evidence? Is it just what you believe, or is it coming from something which is very solid?
Well, given that if most men, if they caught their wives tongue kissing other men, they would divorce them. Given that throughout all American culture and Western culture, they define first base as tongue kissing, and second base as titty kissing, and third base as blowjobs, and it's like considered the first base on the sort of sexual escalation ladder. The fact that tongues are erogenous zones, and that like it's a very common thing to do during sex, to tongue kiss someone. Those are sort of 3 lines of evidence.
Okay, so if I can, if you can, you just correct me as well. So what I can comprehend from your speech was that you were saying that according to the Western values, the tongue kissing is deemed to be an act of pedophilia, even if it's done by the parent of or a grandparent. Please just let me know if I'm wrong.
You asked me whether it's sexual or not. You didn't ask me whether it counts as pedophilic or not.
You talked about the act.
Yes, the tongue kissing.
And the act. Just let me clarify my position as well.
1% of the world considers tongue kissing to be a sexual act. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say about that.
You can ask ChatGPT, no problem with that. But the thing is that you talked about the act. So act also have kind of like an intention behind it. So we will not debate on that. Whatever intention can be. I'm just concerned about the act thing. So you have to, as you said, according to Western values, if someone, is it either parent or grandparent or any other random guy who kisses on a child's tongue is is an act of pedophilia. Just please clarify on that if I'm correct on that to your answer.
Is that a common practice in the Eastern world to some kids?
Can you clarify that, some please?
Well, what you're saying is what we see it, how we see it in the Western world. I'm asking you, is that culturally acceptable in the Eastern world for grandparents and parents to tongue kiss their children? Is that a thing?
Yes, I'll give you some examples, but just to give you a more respectful thing. I was talking to Sam. If Sam allows you, so you can take his position as well. Because I want to talk to one person at a time. It's very similar.
I asked, in the Arab world, would you be allowed to tongue kiss? And it says, in the Arab world, tongue kissing a man who's not your husband would almost universally be considered sexual inappropriate, moral misconduct, tantamount to cheating, a form of zina.
You're talking about, you said, who are the subjects? The husband? Are you talking about how do you talk about husband?
I said, if a woman tongue kisses a man who is not
how do you say it's a woman and man?
I'm giving you evidence that tongue kissing is seen as sexual.
So you're choosing the wrong subjects here.
Why is
that? You're talking about a grandparent and a child. So you have to take those two foundations to establish that.
You're asking about tongue kissing? You're asking about tongue kissing? And in the Arab world, tongue kissing is considered sexual. It says overwhelmingly that you could lead to legal punishment in Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar. You could consider fornication, aka zina. It is not acceptable in any Arab world to tongue kiss someone who is not your wife or your husband. You cannot do it.
Oh, no, so what? I don't disagree with you on that part. So what's the problem? I'm talking about.
A bigger picture here. The bigger picture here is it is widely considered immoral to tongue kiss young children because we're in the West. We consider pedophilia.
You have to.
But I will say,
use the same activity to find it.
Shut the fuck up when I'm in the middle of speaking. Are you actually fucking broken that you can't just let me finish a thought? So the problem with Muhammad's character is he had sex with a 9-year-old named Aisha. He had sex with a sex slave like Maria the Coptic. He married a woman right after killing her husband, that's Sophia. He initiated aggressive. He owned slaves. He traded 2 black slaves for an Arab slave. He stopped visiting his second wife because she was getting too old and started visiting Aisha instead. And then he tongue kissed a young boy. The Prophet Muhammad is not a moral man. It is he is a warlord, pedophile, murderer who has sex with slaves. He's a rapist, a slaver. He's a homosexual, kisses young boys. He's a pedophile. And you're trying to tell me that he is the beacon of the world who we should follow. The View is clownish. And it's unbelievable. And what you should do, rationally, when hearing this information is go, I will not be a Muslim anymore because this is silliness. This is childish silliness.
Just a quick moment. I need to go. I need to go to sleep. So goodbye, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. So are you finished your son?
Yeah.
Perfect. So coming back to the same thing again, the thing that you have found out on ChatGPT, you yourself have made it very clear. It talked about a man kissing another woman on the tongue. The thing that you were discussing before, if I'm not wrong, was about the hadith where Prophet Muhammad was having a tongue kiss with his grandchild. So why don't you just search that as well if you want, and let us know if it's in our culture. And apart from that, even before we search, or meanwhile any other person who's having from the Western world who's taken maybe answer that. What if you meet a new guy who's Arab, or let's say for example, let's talk about in USA for example, you meet someone, a random new strange person, and you start to kiss on their cheeks, you start to kiss on their nose, you start to kiss on their head, meeting their new person. So is it act of what you will consider? Is it a gay act? So is it somehow?
Inside
kiss you by the chance, would you consent to tongue kissing me? I'm not talking about the tongue kiss. I want you to hear my. I want you to hear my conversation.
Sam, this is honestly the dumbest line of reasoning I've ever heard. It's so stupid.
Can you stop trash talking?
No, I can't, because like what you're saying is so stupid. You're trying to say something like the burden of proof is on us to prove to you that tongue kissing somebody is not sexual.
If you're going to jump in between point of talking, because can we tongue kiss, Andy, please? I'm begging you, man. Please tongue kiss me. In the Muslim world, it says tongue kissing between an adult and a child, even if they're related like a grandfather or granddaughter, which can be considered inappropriate, uncomfortable, even disturbing. It says that most Muslims today do not engage in such practices. This is inappropriate, even if it was meant affectionately and not sexually. So yes, in most Muslim countries today, it would seem as inappropriate. So this is a ChatGPT.
See, let me get this.
So let me get this straight.
This is the person that has come into this room that is just trying to justify Muhammad's French kissing a little boy. Is that what's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know why people are defending this narration because it's weak. Like you just put narration chat.
It's like it's
the chain is broken.
No, it's not. It's not broken. No. Are you behind Lisa? Are you behind?
No, it's.
Are you behind?
Let me finish.
I mean,
there's a lot of trash talking going on. There's just a bias in the audience investigate.
Lisa, you can play behind it if you want. Yeah, but because it seems like I have to quote you. I have to quote you in this case because. No. First of all, are they even Muhammad? It's Muslim Ahmed, dude. It's Muslim Ahmed. Are they Muhammad? No. We're not talking about this, dude. You have no idea what we're talking about. It's not the one on my PTR. We're talking about the hadith. We're talking about the hadith that says that your prophet French kissed his own grandson. That's the one.
Yes, I saw that. I know. It's the one that Sam posted. I think Hakim, which is not Muslim Ahmed, it's difficult. It's Hakim 479.
There are three hadiths that we posted. One of them was Mr. Ahmed, and the other one is the one that you're currently reading, which is Hakim. So there are many different narrations of the same event. It's a multiple source hadith.
To be honest, my first implication as a Muslim is to say that, like, it wouldn't be befitting of the Prophet to do something like that, right? Like French kissing and whatever, putting his tongue in a child's mouth.
The more important question is, if your prophet did it, are you okay with it?
No, but that doesn't mean that like it doesn't. Like it may chip away my belief in being a Muslim a little bit, even if it's, let's say, true. If I grant it that like this is something that actually happened, it's authentic. Like that may like raise some questions, right? Like why would the Prophet do this? But again, like I would appeal to like maybe something else contextual, maybe something that was okay at the time, maybe that was like a custom or something, like, you know. I mean, but to be honest with you, I can't find like an authentic narration like that. You know, if you could post the one that was accurate, that one is weak. That one is a broken.
I can even show you that Adab al-Mufrad. I can even show you that Adab al-Mufrad, where basically even Albani grades it as Hassan, but still it's better. It's still it's 100% relevant.
Yeah, I mean we can. No, of course. Okay, look. The other thing that needs to be clarified is that there's literally a hadith that is sahih, meaning that its grade is very correct. It's a very high grade hadith. Like it's, you know, like it's preserved. The confidence that we have that the Prophet said or did something is very high. But that doesn't mean that it has to be sahih to follow. Not every hadith is something that we have to. For example, one time the Prophet said to kill Jews that broke the treaty and were plotting against them. Like he said that. Now I can quote that doesn't mean that I have to kill all the Jews that I see now. There's certain instructions that the Prophet gave that were only applicable to a certain group of people at a specific time. So like, there's that aspect of just because it's Sahih does not mean it's Sahih to follow, right? And obviously the scholars of Islam that meticulously try to go through which ones were general commandments and which ones were specific to an individual or a group. Like, these things matter, right? So the ones that you would bring, we'd have to go through them again. But the one that I see is that was
The fact that Hakim, Tabani, and Albani all say it's either Sahih or Hassan is like very strong evidence, man. And so here's, I wanted to read it because I'm quoting Sunnah.com this time, so I'm not going to go get it from the Reddit post. So that's legit. So go ahead and read this.
And he said, "Oh, I love him, so love him." And well, in this one, there's always something like this,
Put his back into that. Like, I love him, so love him. That's not. What the hell is wrong with you?
But maybe, Reed Hassan, Adab Mufrad.
He just, he put his mouth in his mouth. And then he said, "Oh Allah, I love him, so love him, and the one who loves him." Dude, if I ever talk like that to my grandson, my own son would probably kick my ass.
Well, I'm not disagreeing that that's problematic, but let me just see like what the context is. Hold on. Let me just like.
Well, it's fine for you to go through that concept in his own, but the last guy that was talking was a total idiot. He was trying to say, well, you guys need to prove to me that tongue kissing is a sexual act, and why should I just take your assertion? Yeah, that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to make Sam and I like justify that tongue kissing somebody is wrong.
Yeah, I mean, look, like obviously, like, yeah. You want to get some Muslims that don't know like the context or don't know like, well, like obviously I do.
Tell me what the context is.
Like,
tell me what the context is.
Hold on. Even this one is weak. Even the one in the novel Friday is weak.
Well, we missed out. We went through a whole whether it was Sadi or Hassan for like 30 minutes. Don't lie to me because I'm looking at the same page that I just posted. It says, yeah, Albani, Hassan. It says it right there.
Yeah, Albani is someone that no one takes from, bro. Like, hold on.
Are you serious? Guys, Albani, nobody takes from. Hakim, Zahabi, and Albani all graded as Sahih or as Hassan. I think it's one of the greatest, most famous ones that there is. Isn't it crazy? These two routes that these Muslims are going, one route the Muslims are going are it's not sexual, and the other route is that, oh yeah, all these scholars that say it's Sahih, they don't count. It's like fucking crazy, the fucking gymnastics. Like, this is crazy, dude.
I'll tell you what. So Albani wrote Salah Sitta again. He wrote Bukhari again. He wrote Muslim again. He a lot of hadith that were Sahih to be Da'if. He made them weak, and you get a lot of weak narrations to be Sahih. He didn't have an agenda. And to be honest with you, the scholars of Islam will tell you that.
Dude, I want you. Here's what I want you to do. Okay, here's what I want you to do. Okay, because I know the reputation of Albani. I know the reputation of Albani because I studied under him. By the way, let me tell you who I studied under. I studied under Abdullah bin Humayb. Okay, if anybody knows who he is, he used to be the chief justice of the court of chief justice of Saudi Arabia. Okay, he and his father studied, guess who, under Albani. So if you're going to tell me that one of the greatest scholars of all time, which by the way, he's known as one of the muhaddiths of all muhaddiths, okay, in this regards, and you're telling me that the vast majority is a liar, a deceiver, and he should not be considered a muhaddith. And
No. Look. First of all, it doesn't work like that. Like, okay, let me just read this, yeah? The English translation of Adafina Nisana Fihi, right? It's translated as putting his mouth in his mouth, right? But does this necessitate tongue kissing? No, that's the interpretation. this phrase in Arabic could also be the Prophet playfully touched Al-Hasan's mouth with his hand. A cultural expression of endearment for children like those.
Shit's crazy, isn't it?
Practical scholars never understood this hadith as an intimate kiss. Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani mentioned that the Prophet would suck on his grandchildren's fingers. Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani mentions that the Prophet would suck on his grandchildren's fingers or playfully touch their mouth as a sign of affection. So no kissing is going on. The hadith is weak. By the way, and again, on Surah.com is labeled Hasan. In another place, in Sahih al-Adab al-Mufrad, the one that Albani writes, when he reports this hadith in his book, he calls the same hadith Da'if. And then there's reasons for why it's Da'if.
Send your sources. Are you sure you're not talking about we had the same problem with the other guy where he was talking about sucking the penis. Not that we're not talking about that hadith of sucking the penis. We're talking about the one that he's sucking the tongue. Okay, you try to distinguish between the two hadiths because we have the same problem with the other guy. He's talking about his penis. We're not talking about the one of the penis.
No, I get that. But from what I can tell, this translation of mouth to mouth is a literalistic translation, right? The expression in itself could just mean that he was sucking, like he was touching his mouth, but he was sucking his fingers as an expression of love. But anyway,
actually read the Arabic. So I can actually read the Arabic. And it says what it says.
That's not for example, it's reading cats and dogs. When you read it, as a little paper, you would read it's reading cats and dogs, right? And if someone were to translate that, it would translate it as
here in Arabic. It says right there, which means his mouth. This is talking about mouth to mouth.
Yes, classical scholars just look, an idiom is an idiom, right? Like the apparent wording of the idiom is raining cats and dogs doesn't mean it's actually raining cats and dogs, right? So what I can tell, this is an idiom.
This is not an
expression that's used.
It's not an expression that
you would have knowledge of that if you read Arabic poetry and you understood Arabic idioms that
I know.
used.
We're not talking about poetry. We're talking about reports. These are physical reports. They're not quoting poetry. They're literally telling you what's happening. This is description. It's different.
Only one interpreted this hadith as meaning that there was tongue kissing, mouth to mouth happening according to this hadith. Show me one.
I'm ready.
No. It is authentically the hadith. This expression is idiom. How are you not? Okay, you're not.
So you're not tell me exactly what this section about. Are you reading Fath al-Bari right now? Are you reading Fath al-Bari?
Copy this hadith, Adab al-Mufrad 1183, copy the whole hadith, put it in ChatGPT.
I go ChatGPT when I can go to Sunnah.com.
No, copy the Sunnah.com hadith and ask ChatGPT for the context of this hadith. Say, tell me, explain to me the context. And ask ChatGPT, is this to be understood as mouth-to-mouth French kissing, or is this an idiom that was used and the scholars understood it differently? Just do that. Do me a favor and do that for me. But I just did that. And ask me for the right references. Yeah. Do that for me and then let me know.
Alright, let's go.
Okay, but I just want to, while you're looking that up, I just want to talk to Nizam really quick. Nizam, boy, you got dude. They're bad. They're really bad, dude. They are freaking awful. Like this guy was going to us trying to tell us, you need to tell us why kissing somebody on the mouth is bad, and he just was trying to make it like our burden to show you that mouth kissing is bad and that's considered to be. Come on, dude. These guys are fucking terrible.
Like, you know what, like, Tim, obviously, like people just double down on anything that they hear, right? Like, oh, you put in the hadith, and I was like, everyone is so afraid of like questioning the authenticity of something or trying to understand the context in which it's being said. Like, you know, like a lot of Muslims don't trust their intuitions. Like, obviously, like a normal person would say this is wrong, and you gotta take it easy on those guys, man. Like, Tim, like, with a lot of Muslims, that you gotta be like if you come back in the room, I'll be like, just first copy the hadith in the chat GPT, asking for context, asking for explanation before you like go gung ho and be independent.
Well, but he actually said, well, let's just accept the hadith. He said, let's just accept it as sahih and reliable. That was his. He says, I don't have any problem accepting it that way. So he wanted to operate from that position.
Yeah, obviously it's problematic, though. Like, I mean, like, I would never imagine the Prophet would do something like that and do a lot like that.
Isn't that a very, like simplistic way of looking at societies and, like, anthropology? Because, like, for example, kissing in the mouth hasn't always had the same implications. Like, that we do it today.
Well, but I'm just asking, like here's the thing. Like, we're not talking about. Can we talk about any society for adults to tongue kiss children? I'm not aware of any society.
Yeah, they do.
I asked ChatGPT, what is the context of this hadith? ChatGPT said that the expression used of like mouth to mouth, like, you know, he put his mouth expression of love, and it could just mean that he was talking about his fingers or something, or he was like blowing kisses.
The way that people showed affection changes. It's culturally constructed, and it changes across history. And
so, okay, well, that's fine. Can you show us something that says that there were cultures that used to lick children's, put their tongues, adult tongues in children's mouth and French kiss them? Show us some. So post them in the chat.
You see, this is the issue. Like, it's such an anachronism. You're using like modern terms for this.
So we ran through ChatGPT already, and we couldn't find any cultures that showed that. But I'm open for you to show me some cultures.
Did you guys explore this?
Yeah, we did. We didn't find it. By the way, yeah, we've been here for an hour. We've been here for an hour.
I missed out.
The ChatGPT hasn't said anything except that I'm going to like these Muslim websites, they're giving their opinions. I say, yeah, what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it. I'm like, okay, this is not a good way of actually coming up with a source, because I'm looking for a medieval source that actually says, for example, in this regard, because they're just quoting a hadith saying, yeah, this was totally okay back in the day. You know, what's wrong with people tongue kissing little boys? And that's all I'm hearing from, for example, here, Quran Bible Blog, which is basically .com, which is one. I've also looked into some Reddit posts to see if they can find me any sources in this regard in terms of Sharh al-Hadith, and I couldn't find any. And so I'm looking at Sheikh Asim al-Hakim saying about, you know, tongue kissing, and it's saying, what's wrong with it? I tongue kiss my son all the time. I'm like, this guy.
Wait,
I just think it's been
who was the one who
this
said that? This whole time, like, it's been crazy when it comes to, like, people just saying, oh, it's not sexual, like, tongue kiss young boys, or, oh, there's no way all these scholars that say it's Sahih can be taken seriously, that we just completely dismiss them. It's just like confirmation. It's like people doing the most crazy mental gymnastics ever of like, oh, I don't like this, so it must either not be bad or not count as a fucking Sahih. You never can just say, yeah, maybe it is Sahih. Maybe I need to change my mind about Islam. No, but let's be
never does that cross your mind, because you're fucking stuck in confirmation bias.
Wait, it's
fucking great. I'm a Zionist, but I was showing some evidence about the Gaza war recently that made me change my mind about the war. Why? Because I'm not a hack which doesn't change his mind with evidence. But you guys can never just change your mind. Never can consider evidence against your world.
A basic historical.
Hey, do you know what the rules of my house are?
Oh.
Out of curiosity, do you know what the rules are?
No, but I just want to.
There's two rules: it's to get to a point quickly and to not interrupt. And you were breaking the rules. Don't interrupt me. So don't fucking do that.
That's the first time you crashed out on me.
Yeah, this is the first time you were fucking going crazy interrupting me.
No, because like this is such a basic concept that I think you guys are failing to consider. If it was in fact a abhorrent thing or an abominable thing that the Prophet did, right? And supposedly these people who are narrating it, right? Like, why would they narrate it without like seeking to cope around it at the time? They
don't
just
talk
narrated
to
it.
I can
Right. So
I can answer that. You asked a question. I can answer that, right? It seems as if when you look at what the life of Muhammad, right, there's a lot of things that he did that seem to be a little odd about, like him marrying his adopted son's wife and all that stuff. It seems like they became like very much apologists for Muhammad. Anytime he did something that was a little uncomfortable, they were like, "Well, Muhammad's doing it, so it must be okay." So I don't think it's a feather in your cap to say like, "Well, how come they didn't call him out at the time?" I don't think they called him out for a lot of crazy stuff that he did, and I think that's because they thought he truly was the prophet of God, and therefore what he did was.
That's a good point.
I would look at it more from like a more criterion of embarrassment kind of way, and assume that. I mean, I know it's not the criterion of embarrassment like per se, but it's a similar like principle where like if it was bad, they would either weaken that hadith or they would establish some kind of like strict copes or ways around it. But the fact that it was just narrated so casually and transmitted so casually attests to the fact that this was culturally conventional and not like bizarre.
I appreciate you saying that, but I would actually be more inclined what Nizam said, that the word mouth to mouth didn't mean tongue kissing, and so it was not considered to be like a bad thing because that's not what it was meant, right? I would be more inclined to believe that than yours, where they're saying, well, maybe they were embarrassed, they didn't want to say anything about it, right? Because if you start saying something like that, Nuha, you're going to start basically saying like, oh, well, these people just started covering for Muhammad when they wanted to, and I don't think anybody wants to say that.
May I just say something real quick? So, first of all, I'm an Arab. This kind of activity is considered despicable and disgusting. We would never do that. Okay, to say that that's even culturally appropriate sometime back then, no, it wasn't. It never was, because the Christians never did it. The Jews never did it. Nobody used to do this stuff. There is no historical evidence of people sucking other people's tongues. It was totally okay, and even tribal mentalities would do that to their own grandson. It's disgusting. It's despicable. Never happened. We have not a single other person other than Muhammad in his own sources that has actually done this act. Nobody else except him. So why is it that he's the only guy who managed to do this? And we're saying, oh, this is what they used to do back then. How do you know that? We looked we scoured the entire internet trying to find.
I'm gonna give myself some homework to look more into the like ethnographic kind of like literature and see what I can find on like affection and intimacy and stuff like that.
Yeah, and here's the thing, you and I both have talked before. You've seen problematic hadith, like the drinking of water and standing up instead of sitting, like you have to sit down every time you have to drink water and all that nonsense. So to be honest, you know that there's some weird stuff in these hadiths. There's some really disturbingly mentally weird stuff in this hadith. Why can't this be one of them? You know, like it is what it is. Like we read the Isnad chain. Actually, we quoted 3 different muhaddithin. One of them is Al-Nawawi, which is one of the greatest muhaddithin of all time. And Al-Albani saying that it's Sahih and Hasan.
Yeah, I'm not questioning the chain.
Islamic sources who did exactly what Muhammad did, then you would have a point. But the problem is, nobody else did this except Muhammad. Muhammad is the only dude who ever French kissed his own grandson.
If that is the case,
only sources.
if that is the case, I'll be inclined. Like, I'm gonna go research it. If that is the case, I'll be inclined to agree. And I do agree with Sam. Like, if we start to weaken hadiths because of this like uncomfortable kind of hadith, it's kind of disingenuous, right? There's no. It's like everything just becomes like, I don't know, like unfalsifiable. Like, you can just weaken or strengthen whatever hadith you want based on your intuitions. But yeah, like there's no fixed standard.
No worries.
Yeah.
I agree.
Neil, I have a question for you. Do you think that people who kill themselves go to hell?
People who kill themselves go to hell. I think it's probably a major sin. If they're like, for example, Muslim, and then they kill themselves, I believe they still do go to heaven, right? Eventually. But they might go to hell temporarily, but yeah.
It seems like a little bit evil that someone was so depressed that they kill themselves to torture them more. If they're already tortured by life, you torture them more. It seems like not very kind.
Do you reckon?
Yes.
I mean,
I found out someone killed. Okay, suppose here's what happened. My friend tries to kill himself, but he fails at killing himself. What I wouldn't then do is tie him to a chair and start like flaying his skin off or cutting his fingers off or like electrocuting him. Why? Because it's like an insane thing to do to someone who's depressed and needs help. So what God should do is, instead of torturing someone, but I love you because I'm God and I'm merciful. So you had any idea that you would have any hell at all, given how horrible it is to be in such a horrible life that you kill yourself. It just shows how cruel and ridiculous this God is. You should not torture people who kill themselves.
That's still like, it's still based on your moral intuitions. One can say it's
You don't have moral intuitions, you're a demon. Okay, I was going to say, you don't have moral intuitions, you're a demon.
One can say it's just for God to punish someone because he didn't fulfill his end of the covenant. God told him, don't kill yourself. And he went and he killed himself, and he interrupted God's, like, you could say, like, what God actually wanted for him, or whatever. I know it's a bit.
If you have moral intuitions, you're a good person. You think you should help the needy, you should be fair, you should be kind, you're a good person. If you don't have moral intuitions, you're just a fucking demon, you're just a fucking psycho. Oh yeah, I'll just fucking torture people that kill themselves. Oh, I'll just fucking kick puppies and gouge the eyes out of babies.
Yeah, but how can you prove that it's evil? Like, is my claim. Like,
oh, how can you prove 2 + 2 is 4? How can you prove that I don't know?
Yeah, but come on, we all know it's not like that, because there are many ways one can actually, even from a secular perspective, argue that it's not necessarily evil. Like, if the body that like the life you're terminating doesn't actually belong to you and it's a creation of God, like,
you know what, do you think morality is just totally arbitrary?
I don't know, bro. I don't think it's like.
Don't you think it has something to do with something? There's something.
That was a good answer with what she said.
No, it's not. Okay, when it has to do with morality, morality has to do with suffering, fairness, impartiality. It's not a fucking coincidence the judgments we make. We think about how we would want to be treated ourselves. We think about what causes pain and causes ourselves pain. That's what animates our judgments. We say, oh, I wouldn't like it if someone steals from me. I wouldn't like it if someone gouged my eyes out, so I won't do it to them. I don't like it when someone tortures me. I won't torture them. That's what we used to base our judgments on. It's not just arbitrary whims. It's literally based on reason, suffering, impartiality. It's not just arbitrary. I hate when people think it's arbitrary. It's not. It's obviously not.
Sam, if that was the case, the world would not be where we are right now. But I don't think that's what Naha, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. I don't want to disrespect your name. I don't think that was her point when Naha, I don't think that was her point when she was speaking to you regarding her viewpoint on morality. She's speaking of a covenant that if you break the covenant, it's not your life to give. So you're in breach of covenant. That's her argument.
Oh yeah, it makes so much sense to care about the covenant. Yeah, that makes me want to torture people that kill themselves. When my best friend kills himself, I'm gonna say, yeah, he deserves to be tortured. That makes any sense at all.
It's just a fucking broken ideology. I honestly feel like I'm on a world full of fucking broken people who are blind, and I feel like how is it not obvious that if someone tries to kill themselves or does kill themselves, that they were already in a lot of pain, and what they deserve is sympathy, and I'm sorry that your life was so hard, and I'm sorry that the fucking situations of your fucking life, that's not the way you fucking try to do that. And the answer to that is not to fucking torture them. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? What the fuck is wrong with you? If he kills themselves, it means their life was horrible. They should be fucking tortured for that. Fucking idiots. You fucking idiots. I'm sorry.
You weren't serious, were you? If you were, my condolences.
Why would you ask him to be serious? What the fuck?
Because that's the question. I don't know if he was playing or if he was serious. I don't know him that well.
Okay, how about we assume he was serious? Because he sounded obviously really upset. Why did he fuck
that's
him?
why that's what
How about we don't take it away from his moment on this? Sam, I'm very sorry that happened. And I'm very sorry that I'm sure that you've had to deal with something like this. And I'm in complete agreement with you. And I think that, this ideology that espouses that individuals who are in horrendous pain then have to be given more pain as a result of their inability to cope with that pain is horrendous. And I absolutely agree with you. And I can think of a variety of different situations in which if I were in pain, I would do the same thing. And, the idea that I should be punished for the fact that the type of pain that I have is different and more than the type of pain perhaps somebody else had to endure that would cause me to do something like that does not enable somebody to say that I deserve to be tortured for that. I think that's horrendous. I'm in absolute agreement with you. And I'm sorry that whatever you're thinking about when you're talking about that is so upsetting, and I appreciate you sharing it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you, man.
I've lost 3 of my best friends to suicide. Damn, it was not my intention to disrespect you in any kind of way. So my apologies. I am learning who you are, so I didn't know that this was not a hypothetical situation. So I apologize to you. And I understand where you're coming from.
I've been this past couple days, I've been reading much more about Islam. It's making me much more, I find it completely indefensible in any way. The hadiths that I found are the silliest, most childish shit I've ever seen in my life. The most absolutely embarrassing fairy tale children's stories I've ever heard in my life. And then Muhammad, when I found out that his old wife, she was like, please don't divorce me. You don't have to have sex with me anymore. You can have sex with your young wife instead of me. Please don't divorce me. And then Muhammad didn't comfort her in that moment of insecurity. Muhammad is not a good man. The fact that you base your life on a religion around a man who's not a good man is something you should be ashamed of. This ideology is silly. It's a silly book. It's a silly worldview. Muhammad, is a bad man. Now, so is this. But I don't have as many people telling me that fucking they are perfect people. But these people tell me, oh yeah, Muhammad's so great. Let me tell you about some things that Muhammad did. Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old. He tongue-kissed a young boy. Let's read a sex slave. He married a woman after killing her husband. He initiated military actions. He owned slaves. He traded 2 black slaves for Arab slaves. He stopped visiting his second wife because she was too old and decided to visit his young wife instead of her. He tongue-kissed a young boy. This is not a good man. This is not a good man.
He's a despicable man. I agree. There's also other passages, Sam. I can't remember specifically what one there is, but he had just finished putting a city to the sword and take some of the women for himself and had this little harem and had to get them out of the city a certain amount so he could marry them to force them to have sex with them. I can't remember what passage that was, but it's just a litany of horrific things that people try and justify because they think that this book that they were taught is true because somebody taught them that it was true, right?
if we burned all of the Qurans today, which I don't advocate for because I don't think that book should be burned, and I like knowledge for knowledge's sake. But if we burned all of the Qurans today, you would not find a new Quran that would have the same information and written the same way in 100 years from now if nobody else knew about it. It would not be a thing. And I think this is just a testament to the fact that these were ridiculous ideas written by people from a very long time ago that didn't know what they were talking about, and for some reason we've incorporated into our social framework in this like inextricable way that we haven't been able to get over. And people keep making these apologetics for these horrific figureheads of these religions.
Yeah, if you find that passage, I'd love to see it. I'll put it in my document.
Yeah, I'll try and find it.
No rush, just if you do. People ask me why I open up these rooms on Islam. It's like, the more I deal with this text, the more I talk to people justifying this stuff. It's like, what? How are you doing this? You must see the insanity. You must see the insanity of these hadiths, the moral insanity of Muhammad's behavior. You must see it. Like, how can you not see it? It is clear as day. It is clear as the sun on a spring day. It is not like it's not like some subtle fucking algebra problem. The hadiths are saying stuff like the monkeys are stoning each other, and that the Satan sleeps in your nose, or that you should wipe your ass an odd number of times, or that there are rats that are Jews and follow kosher laws.
Or that camel piss heals ailments, or that you have to walk into the bathrooms on your left foot and pray to God that the demons don't crawl up your asshole as you finish shitting and that you don't shit towards Mecca, or that semen comes from your backbone, or any number of ridiculous things.
It's the fairy tales of a fucking medieval, uneducated moron. And then billions of people base their lives on it.
Not only base their lives on it, but willingly end other people's lives based upon it.
Sorry, I had to take a phone call, guys. Did I miss any?
Well, I got really upset because of people were saying that insanity of it and the stupidity of it.
Got it.
Do you know that what's interesting, Sam, there isn't a historical basis for that in the Bible, for example. This was something that was like ad hoc added because the church was worried that people would just kill themselves to go to heaven early. So they like added these additional passages in, and you're like, you shouldn't kill yourself because God. I say you not. Look at the history of it. Because God, there was nothing originally in the Torah, the original Bible, that had anything to do with suicide. It was ad hoc added in so that people wouldn't like try and rush their way in it.
Before creation itself.
It's funny. There's a similar thing in Buddhism where a lot of Buddhists are saying, well,
I don't love working that much, and if I'm going to see my loved ones in heaven anyways, I'm going to off myself tomorrow, because then I don't have to go to work anymore. I'm immediately in heaven getting finger blasted by the 72 versions or whatever the fuck else. What incentive do I have? If there's no punishment for it, then yeah, what the logical person would do it.
and also in Buddhism, life is suffering, and the best thing to do is escape suffering. And then somebody come out and be like, you can't kill yourself. So they go, oh, no, you can't kill yourself because reincarnation is able to share your but then there's the second of Buddhism, for reincarnation. It's like, okay, what do you think the purpose of suffering? And the only thing to do is to escape suffering.
We're all very positive. We like to get paid.
But they don't ever take it there. Life isn't just suffering. A bunch of Buddhists are wrong. They think life is nothing to do with it. It's not just stupid. It's that beauty, that fun, that friendship, that community, that love. You can't get saying life is just suffering is just as dumb as saying life is just joy. It's just a fucking confusion of what life is. Life is complicated. Some good, some bad, some boring, some
the veneration of suffering, right? This like idea that the more suffering you experience, the better your rewards, and the stronger you are as a person, the more blessed you are by God. I mean, hell, you can even like look in the Bible at the passages regarding, I can't remember the individual's name, but like the Jewish man that was the holiest of all men that God loved the most. And then Moses like saw a prophecy of, God showed him what was going to happen in the future, and this guy was going to die horribly, like torn apart by hooks and have his skin flayed and all this. And Moses was like, "Why, God?" And God's like, "Go fuck yourself. I do things I want." And it's just like, who honors these monsters? Like, why? Why? Like, given two different options. One option where there's two gods that you could pray to, one of which doesn't require all this suffering, and says to the other god, like, I can do everything you're doing absent the suffering. Who would choose that god, right? You wouldn't, right? Like, this is like the Kim Jong-un of gods. Like, it's the veneration of a fucking Cenobite religion. It's insanity.
Sam, how you doing, Sam? This is your favorite friend.
Hello.
Sam, I'm so sad the guy left. I wanted you to ask me that question about Muhammad sleeping with slaves. Because it was I was so sad he left, because if you read the part that narrated the story, he first told Aisha that, the Lord commanded that I can sleep with anybody I want to sleep with. And Aisha responded to him that, are you sure it's the Lord that told you, or you're just fulfilling your own fantasies? I wanted MJ to answer that question. So
I know that story. So the full story goes that he was found sleeping in with his sex in the bed of one of his wives called Hafsa. When Hafsa caught him basically cheating, not cheating, sorry, it's not cheating when you're having sex with your sex slave, but he caught him in the bed of his own wife, which is disrespectful. The first thing Muhammad said, please don't tell this to Aisha. Because Aisha, as soon as he finds out, well, guess what? She did. And Aisha brought all the other wives into that room, and that made Muhammad to swear not to sleep with Maria the Cobb ever again. And Muhammad said, I swear that I will never sleep with Maria the Cobb ever again. And guess what? He got a revelation from Allah. And saying, Allah tells me that I can sleep with my sex slave, and if you guys don't accept it, then Allah will replace you with a better, with a better wife. And after that, Aisha says, I feel like your God is hastening to fulfill your desires.
And it's so funny that in that one verse or whatever, he doesn't say, you will be replaced by better wives. It's like, perhaps you will be, maybe you'll be replaced with better wives. It's like, Allah's like, no, maybe you'll be replaced with better wives. You better be careful. That might happen.
I feel like I says that, I'm getting a revelation. You know, like the sock puppet is like, there's a sock puppet in his hand that goes up. I said, Allah's here. Yeah. Hey, and then Allah starts talking through his hand. It's like, talking to you guys.
I need the more wives. It is time. Aisha, remember, you're no longer a child anymore. You're no longer my favorite. Time to replace you.
It's like, hello. I'm telling you that you can have anybody you want. And if you girls don't like it, I'm going to replace you. I'm going to replace you. That's right.
I love thinking of him just being at like dinner and looking at who's going to take the last piece of food off the plate. Allah says I get the rest.
My favorite convenient verse is like, the one that when Muhammad it's his wedding night, and he had his wedding night, and then these leaders of this tribe wouldn't leave his tent because he wants to go to his wife, right? It's his wedding night, so he was too shy to tell the leader of his tribe because it was pretty disrespectful to tell your elders to leave, right? And the elders were having fun. So Allah revealed the revelation. Here comes the sock puppet. God explain the Quran is something called the Lawh. It comes from the Lawh al-Mahfuz, which means that in Arabic, it's the eternal tablet. It was there since the dawn of time, right? This is like the most sacred of the sacred, respectful, reverent kind of thing. And it's talking about Muhammad's libidos and what he's going to do. And I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, what is this? Like, why is it in the eternal tablet of God saying that you can do all of these crazy stuff? Like, it doesn't make any sense. There was another one that Allah actually, another convenient verse that I liked was when he married his adopted son's wife. You know about that one?
Y'all gonna eat this over garlic.
No.
I don't much like the taste of it.
So
Ain't
the
no one
story
saying you're
goes,
gonna like it. We just gotta figure out how to give us the rest.
his adopted son was named Zayd, and Muhammad, he was called at that time.
Was it the one? Sorry,
Just eat the damn garlic, girl.
not married a book.
I wonder if that will come first.
Can you repeat that, sir? You're cutting off.
Was the story, that's how people say that women are the cover of the Islam because they need to visit his adopted son's house and saw his wife was mad. And now told me that he was
Umar saw one of Muhammad's wives, doing the call of nature, and she was like a tall lady, one of them, and says, why don't you just, put a hijab on or something, and that's where the hijab or niqab or whatever number her came from. Like, no, that's a different story. This one is a story of when Muhammad got a revelation from Allah that would allow him to marry his adopted son's wife. Because back then, marrying your adopted son's wife was considered a no-no. You don't do that. And I believe there was a Quranic verse that also says that you cannot marry your adopted son's wife. So it was even enshrined in the Quran. So what happened was that Muhammad was going to his adopted son's wife's house, Zayd, in this regard. And he was walking by the window of his of Zayd's house and saw his wife, Zayd's wife, wearing a nightgown. And guess what? He said, yeah, damn. And of course, the wife saw that and she said, boy. So she's like, oh, this is my opportunity to get up the social ladder. So she demanded from Zayd to be divorced because at that time Zayd already had 3 other wives. So he's like, hey, and she's like, oh, why is my wife nagging so much about divorcing me? And the mom was like, oh, don't divorce her. I don't know why she's doing that. I have no idea why she would want to do that. And he's rolling his eyes. Okay. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna just divorce her. I'm like, okay, cool. If you want to divorce her, yeah, I ain't stopping. As soon as she got divorced, Muhammad married her. Okay? And this caused a scandal amongst the community. So guess what? Allah's sock puppet comes out. Here comes the sock puppet. Muhammad sucker. Allah tells me that I can marry my adopted son's wife. And by the way, your adopted sons are no longer, there's no such thing as adoption anymore. Only foster children. I banned adoption because I wanted to get my dick wet. So now there's no more adoption because Muhammad wanted to have sex with his adopted sons. And by the way, which is his first cousin too. And this is where first cousin marriage comes from too. And now, here's another problem that it caused. Now, all the people that have been adopted into these families that they have, now they are wondering, okay, I have a kid who's about 18, and he's an old man with a beard, wearing a hijab in front of my adopted kid. These I'm talking about the ladies, right? And Muhammad said, I found a solution. The solution is that you're going to breast suckle him 10 times, or 5 times if it aggregated many times. But you're going to breast suckle your adult man, and that way, now he's allowed, you don't have to take off your hijab every time you're around him. So, and that's exactly, so every time when random strangers want to enter into Muhammad's wife's houses, they have to get breast suckled every time. Aisha used to breast suckle a lot of people, and she hated that. She hated that with a passion. No wonder that the verse got that those verses, those chapters of those verses were actually underneath her bed, and a goat came and ate it. Yeah, right. Oops. No, she actually wanted those gone because she hated it. And she was, and another chapter of the verse was about stoning adulterers, which she was also accused of. And she wanted that gone too because she didn't want the punishment for her death, right? In the Quran. Although it was recorded in the Hadith, so therefore that's why we have stoning of adulterers.
Sounds just like Traces, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many weird stories. Like, I mean, these are funny. So I always laugh. Like, every time when I read some of these stuff, I'm like, you can't make this shit up. I could go to the Laughing Factory, or I could start a sitcom, and I could be making billions of dollars out of it. I mean, absolute billions of dollars. For me personally, there are two books. There are two books in particular: Al-Tabari, Republican comedy, and Alfred Guillaume's book, Asir Rasulullah. So those two books, you will either like say, "My goodness, what a despicable, absolute evil person," or you're gonna just laugh your ass off. It's like those two things like come simultaneously. You would tremble in fear, and you would also laugh at the same time, really, really hard. It's a weird combination. Like it's funny. And someone's already done that. Republican comedy. Someone's actually turned it into like a graphic novel. No, not graphic. Into like an animation type thing. And there's one called Nabi Asli. There's another one called Satan, which is 710 or Satan. But that's more of a musical type thing. But Nabi Asli, he has turned all of these weird ass stories into. There's another one that I forgot right now, and it's not in my mind. It's like a 2D animation, but I can't remember what it's called. I'm trying to think about it. I'll get back. Sam, you there?
Yeah, what's up? Yo, Dunya, what's up? You there, Dunya? Yo, my Islam document is getting so long. There's 21 pages now.
Some Rob Christian's videos.
Child is animals cruelty because if you look at it,
he's a Christian
dogs
apologist, all he does is
decrease like they have
that Muhammad did. Some really nasty stuff.
Some people think that owning pets is cool because it decreases their ability to survive in the wild, and now I'm willing to hear arguments that people make for that, but in general it's like
So you say that dogs have the problem surviving in the wild?
yeah, bulldogs like they.
I mean, you don't. But I mean, the African wild dog. You should look at online there and look at the African wild dog. It's a beautiful dog, man. I love to have one. I think it's illegal to have one in Canada, but you should look at them because they have the highest attack rate in Africa. Like their rate of killing is like 70 to 75% when they attack, and I don't think any other animal has that successful rate of attacking other animals. Like the African wild dogs are just best attack rate in Africa.
Yeah, I mean, like I agree. It's like you can have it, but because of the way that they have been domesticated. So.
You might know this better than I do, but I heard this from my son. Aren't some bulldogs like genetically engineered? Like they're not like a. I thought the French bulldog is not like a dog that existed before. It was like basically something that was tampered, but I don't know if this is true or not. I'm asking.
I don't know so much about that. I don't know about Great Danes. I know that they have a lot of respiratory problems, mostly because of the fact that they, they're such, big dogs that have such, very fragile respiratory for the dog their size. That their cardio is just.
Victoria very well.
What?
Do you know Victoria very well?
Yeah, I know her.
Yeah, she's not hard to dissolve.
I mean, like, in general, she just, like, she doesn't like to be interrupted, which, I mean, to be fair, like, bro, it's like, could you just let her finish what she was saying, ultimately? Like,
don't get me wrong, I interrupted, I'm not going to deny that, but I just found it really funny that I say something straight out of their mouths. They're talking about ownership and they know better than for their lives to do, and which they're animals, which we don't, right? Like, we say we're going to do this because it's just better for us, but like it's better for them, but like they don't make that decision, right? And I'm pretty sure, like, I'm not saying I'm 100% this because I can't talk to dog or cat, but I'm pretty fucking sure if I could talk to a cat animal and so what I would do, the answer would be no.
But you do understand, of course, that we make, of course, many other decisions, like with, when we have, like, infants, like, we always,
Yeah, but that's different. That's completely different. That's just a bogus argument. Because our infants,
stewards, we do things as stewards.
yes. But our kids are free when they get to a certain age, and they want to like we teach them, and I do agree with you 100%. But they're on their own at a certain age and have the responsibility. Animals never get to choose.
Well, yeah, because there's some things animals never have the ability to be able to test. Animals don't have the intelligence to be able to drive cars.
That's not what I meant at all. Hey, listen, man. Like,
okay, but
you're being very dishonest right now, right?
No, my point is.
No, yes, you are, because that's not what I meant. You know that's not what I meant. You're very dishonest.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
You just said that animals just can't even drive cars. Like, reading that, bro? Like,
yeah, do you understand the point of what I mean?
I don't like this to hear that bullshit. Like, move on.
I'd like to get put in the queue. Sorry, Negro, to take your dopamine away.
Okay, you guys can go ahead, because I have to do a few things here for my stock market. So you guys can go ahead. Go first.
I'm actually going to go too. So.
It was such a fascinating conversation, Negro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really debate, like,
Are those hairs coming out of a mole on your chin? Am I mistaken in your black and white photo?
What are you talking about?
Bottom right, your left, stage right, or I guess stage left on your chin. Are those hairs on a mole that I see in the black and white photo?
Yes.
Interesting. Have you thought about?
Is that your real picture, Necro?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, because often people don't put their real picture.
Have you thought about plucking the hairs from the moles, or is that just like an extra thing for a girl to play with or a guy to play with, on a Friday night?
Yeah, what do you have against people who have moles?
No, I'm just wondering, like, can you actually remove the hairs? Because, aesthetically, it might be more pleasing to have a well-groomed face instead of, like, hairs coming out of a mole on your chin. It's just an idea. I mean, I want you to get laid. I'm on your side, bro. I'm here to give you maybe some free consultation.
I mean, my face is more clean shaven than you.
I know, but you have, like, mole hair.
So why are you going after me?
I'm just literally aesthetically making a suggestion. It's not personal. I'm just saying I think you probably look more handsome without hairs growing out of a mole on your chin.
Do you not think it's something that I try to finish?
No, I know it's probably a challenge. Just, never mind. You're right. It's a challenge to manage mole hair. My ears, my unibrow. It's like I got to constantly groom myself. So I'm just saying that,
You know, Necro and John, we had this discussion about the pets, right? And I was kind of defending that they weren't, and I got my mind changed. And the person that was debating actually changed my mind on this topic. Like, I never used to think this way because I always had animals. I always had dogs and cats, right?
changes from this stance. Just let you know that I was not always like this.
Welcome back to Fight Club, where low IQ dumb people will talk about nothing while their personal lives burn down all around them, or they never had any. Somebody kicked me.
Arrested many American-born citizens that are Mexican descent. So there's profiling going on. So if you look like a Mexican, they're going to come after you, even though you're an American.
Oh, you gotta mind me. He's interrupting. You gotta mind me.
Okay. Stop begging you cocaine, bitch.
Not deleting the.
Ron Norman. Move up and down, but no, as we said, okay?
Say it again.
I said, no throwing people out of the room, no deleting
Yeah,
the
just
chat, but
kick
you
them
move
down
up
and
and
audience
down.
and to move him down. That's what I was gonna do. Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Only because he's interrupting.
Yeah. Well, he's also cursing people out.
Yeah,
He's polite political discussion, but
yeah,
bring him up and stuff.
I can't wait till he comes back and sees my PTR. It's gonna really look. He can see it right now. You should see. Can you see? Are you off the phone now or something? Or is it temporary? That looks a little bit more graphic.
What is that?
That's Muhammad.
That will get your head cut off in Muslim area. Oh my God! Come on, that's just a bit much. Come on,
It's Muhammad.
I know. Come on, let's just.
I mean,
things that just really shouldn't be done.
But this isn't like this. This wasn't done in like fucking Texas or something. This police, this is done by it's not actually Muhammad represented here, but
but pretty much most people will think it is.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean,
Please, just polite request, just change it.
Can I do the one with Hamas where they have the Hamas flag and it has the doors? Is that okay?
Whatever, just
okay.
Profit.
Okay. I'll do the Hamas flag holding dildos. Let me change it.
Yes, me.
Come on. Just
You're still with the plus. You like that, huh? Or are you still
no,
trial?
Cancel that. I didn't know that. We can cancel it and have the other guys, yeah.
So I saw. Wait, this is near. I saw listen to maybe like the first 15 minutes, as your client's podcast with the former Prime Minister Omer. Okay. What? I don't know. Is he like a controversial person? I mean, he was the Prime Minister, so enough people must have liked him. But he was a little critical. Okay, you made a statement. You want to tell us what you? I'm asking, like, what is your opinion of him? I'm sure you. He's obviously being very critical of Israel's handling this situation now. He wasn't with the initial. Why you let this fucking colonizing homo throw me down? I'm not talking about you, Pat, but you are homo. You've violated my rule, and if you don't violate the rule, he will not throw you down. Okay? Come on, that was not necessary.
I heard an actor.
No, there was no outburst.
I heard him yelling.
He was talking. For him, that was quiet. He was white colonizer, and I can deal with that. That's not a big deal.
I just heard him yelling. That's what I said.
Those uncivilized Puerto Ricans weren't colonized well enough.
I thought you wanted to have a civilized conversation.
Yes, I do. For him, that was civilized. It was okay. I think it was okay for you too. Okay, let's just.
He's got to
If it wasn't for you white Europeans, we would have not brought the plague over here too and take care of all the rest of those nasty Europeans. But I will talk about that. No one knew about bacteria and germs. Hold on, let's talk about this for a moment. People did not know about germs and resistance, and I'm using it another way, resistance to things that, the Europeans had built up resistance to the plague and other diseases that the Native Americans didn't have. It's not as though, like, Columbus and other people that were colonizers said, you know what, we're going to wipe them out with disease. No, that was not part of the game plan because they couldn't even think about that because they didn't even know about it.
understanding, petri juices and how to grow
You're saying Columbus and them didn't understand human biology and genomics and all this kind of shit? Like, seriously?
Yeah, when you have
That's one of the biggest problems. I really thought that when, the conquistador or the Spaniards walked across South America, that when they wiped out, 1 million people in the jungle, they did it on purpose. Damn, I really thought that.
Hold on, war and other things.
Yeah, they coughed on it. They coughed on it.
Talking about just showing up. And
yeah, I know. There was these Spaniards who, when they arrived the first time in South America, marched like 25 across the central part of South America, and they said that they had seen a great city with like 1 million people, and then when they showed up a couple years later, everybody was gone, and they're like, because the guys were making this shit up, and now when they're doing like LiDAR and stuff like that, they actually found the city and they've unearthed it, and they said they estimated 500,000 people that they all died of disease. But I really thought they did that on purpose, Stan.
Yeah. I mean, one would think that they didn't know anything at that time.
Like India.
The thing is, Louis Pasteur didn't come onto the
Also, Norman, it's something that you might be interested in the hearing, and it's also coming from the mouth of a Christian. The earliest writings about powerlifting or weightlifting was actually Saint Jerome in 349. He was born in 349, so it was around that time when he was alive. And a little weightlifting, and he attributes it to the Jews actually being the first people in history that we have through historical evidence that shows people actually using weightlifting devices and stuff. And also the first powerlifter was also a Jew. Yeah, I know the Greeks did. The Greeks did, but they talked about it when they was the first person to actually talk about weightlifting and using actual apparatuses for weightlifting. I know the story about the Greeks.
That's a Greek word, isn't it?
I mean, I'd love to take credit for it, but I don't believe that was us.
Did he leave, or did you throw him out? Did Resistance leave on his own?
I sent him down, and I guess
and then he left.
So
the only problem with making Norman moderator is he'll just kick everybody, and then we don't have anybody to do it.
Told him the rules.
I know. But we don't know who he's kicking. He'll be like, I guess he is left. Everybody's an asshole to you, though, Norman.
no, that is incorrect. Only assholes are assholes to me.
So you define everybody as an asshole.
Hold on.
No, I did not define it with you.
No cursing and no personal attacks. Okay? If that defines an asshole.
Okay. Some guy I know defines people as